Oh,
My Restream's working? No way. That's weird.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't it be working? We're here.
Well,
We're
because
queer.
they're
Get used to
hitting
it.
all. They've hit all 3 of my channels. So, and
Listen,
I
don't
want.
complain to me here every day. Don't take the energy down complaining about your shitty panel and them fucking with it. You know, if you fuck with me and what we do, that you're gonna have static and resistance at times. So like it or love it, man. Which
Right.
one are you choosing right now? Like it or love it?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't talk shit about the same panel that you visited the other day, sir. So kindly
Again,
and
I came by
eloquently
there
added value.
to try to support you, and yes, as you just said quietly under your breath, add some value for you, right? But
And
again,
should it, dude? Should it?
I've become aware of some friction and resistance between us, and it shows
Okay.
itself at times, right? It's very fleeting, it's very momentary, but it shows itself. It showed itself back on Eon's panel. Do you remember that? You don't remember that, but
Mm-hmm.
I do, and others do. When you like, we're hanging here every day, and we were talking, and I was showing you Daddy's love, and teaching you Daddy's way to the way, and you found yourself just very confused and embarrassing on Eon's panel, whining and complaining about me and making underhanded comments, and that was a fucking shame and a disappointment for you. I expect it from folks who regularly commune with loser failures and accept less for themselves and others in their life. So, with that being said, I want to remedy that resistance between us and that power struggle, if you will, because there is no struggle here, right? There's power and then there's the absence of it. And then we can go to true power versus false power. And of course, we're not talking money. So you can throw that out because I know you'll say I'm a materialistic, shallow prick. All right. And you can throw out the pussy because we know you're not getting either of those. Neither was I. Throw that right out of the conversation. We're talking about thoughts, emotions, actions, habits, and results. Okay. And then that translates over to money and pussy, oddly enough. And then there's false power, right? Where you chase the money, you chase this identity, you pretend to be something you're not, you sacrifice your soul and your completion here and your purpose, all for a bag and an old bag. Right. So bag and bag. Little bag, old bag. You get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, but I was just bringing it up because I tried to restream on one of the on this channel. I think it was yesterday or the day before or whatever. I went to check
I'd
my
set some
email
healthy boundaries. You're deflecting. You're not gonna directly address what I'm saying. So I'm gonna have to keep you on task. The next time, let me be more specific. The next time I come over there to bring triple your numbers, which would bring the count up to 30 people, and good conversation and entertainment, and I ask you to throw a smelly, cycling, looping Muslim out. Are you prepared to do it? And I don't want to limit it to just a smelly Muslim either. Pretty much anybody. If I turn to you and go, "Hey, Peanut Power, do me a favor, throw this piece of shit out of here." Like, do I have the confidence to know that you'll be able to undertake that?
Probably.
Probably. That wasn't convincing. It's kind of like when the woman said, "Did you try Firefox?" And I was like, "No, I didn't."
Microsoft Fire Crotch.
Yeah, I
Billy
should have
Gates.
I had no problem using Microsoft Edge for a year and a half. Why do I need to download Firefox now? This woman's trying to get kinky with me. Some kind of foxtail hanging off the fucking browser. Some kind of butt plug foxtail hanging off the browser. I don't know anything about this shit. All right. I don't why does everything have to get complicated? Life is so simple. This technology was so simple. Used to be. You plug the fucking wires in, you get on here, and shit worked. And I don't know what's going on now. Nothing works. The 5T doesn't work. Talcott 5G. The fucking Ethernet ports don't work. The StreamYard doesn't work. Talcott doesn't want to work. He's not going to work because he doesn't want to work.
Is it that
Fucking
those things?
Google, YouTube. What
Yeah,
the
is it
fuck?
that
Now you
those
got me complaining. Do you see what you did? You got me complaining now. I didn't want
Is
to
it
come
that
here and
those
explain
things
to.
don't work, or is it that they're that they're working just as planned, just as designed, just as
Okay, you're right. You're
reverse
right. You're right.
engineered?
You're right. You're right. You got me. It's working perfectly. We're shadow banned. They can't handle us. We're too much for the system, and they're throwing everything they got in the kitchen sink at us. Whatever. It's just going to make us better in the long run. It's going to make us do better and be better. It's going to make us refocus on what really matters. our
So
purpose, our process, our procedure, our value. Dude, you don't even understand. I have so much content that I don't know where to start. That's how fucked up I am. So at some point, I'm just gonna start with light shit. When I get back to where I'm going and the weather gets nicer and they got gun shows that are all legal and lawful, I'm gonna just go there and I'm gonna do 2 hours at the gun show, buying and selling. Right? Not buying and selling. Am I buying and selling? I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I don't know what's going on over there. All right. I'm saying too much now. But see, this is the problem too. Is you go to do content and you start mixing certain elements in, and now they want to show up and have conversations about certain things. So I got to check into what the local and state and federal ordinances put forth, and then I'm going to have to like hand it to someone and tell them to interpret to me what their belief is about it because I don't understand any of it, and I don't think it's possible for me to understand it. But I'm going to ask somebody else if they understand it, and then tell them to explain it to me, and then I'm going to do what they say. That's how stupid I am. You see? So yeah, at some point, man. I mean, that's a channel in and of itself. Gun dealing with Paul on the plane.
yeah, do you know
See,
the channel Hickok? Hickok. I'm pretty sure
no,
that's
it's a family broadcast, man. Don't bring that crap here. I'm sick of you. You
one of the
deviant.
biggest gun channels. I think. I've talked
Oh,
to him in chats before.
oh, you mean that old man
Mhm,
sits out in his backyard and has a whole bunch of shit that he shoots at? Yeah, I've seen that.
mhm.
I thought you said his cock channel, and I'm like, dude, you tried to share this with me last time, and I told you just let's stay away from that. It's easy for me to get confused.
But yeah, so get this right. They hit me on this channel now for a private upload. A private
Dude, I
upload.
told you that already. You're telling me shit I already know. You're boring me in the audience. If we're gonna
No,
complain here, it's
I
gonna
didn't
about
tell you
me,
this, did
be
I?
me. Hey, listen to me. We're gonna come here and complain. It's gonna be about me losing a fucking 22,000 subscriber channel that was on the rise. And if they want to say I bought those subscribers, I'd love for somebody to fucking sit down with me one day and be the lead investigator on that. I'll open this whole platform up to you and I'll answer every fucking question. Slow State, whoever else. I want you to go through all my records with me. I'll show you everything and you show me where the fuck I bought subscribers. Okay. So I know folks are even more mad than I am somehow that I had 20 something thousand subscribers and I was like on a rocket ship movement, like to the point I was on dozens of platforms a week. And then something happened. All right. A few things happened. I got a little too big for my britches, a little too comfortable talking truth, right? When I get nervous on air, I start talking the truth. That's bad for everybody. And the El Shadow Bano situation that seemed to come about. All my videos being tagged sovereign citizen, all of them calling me a terrorist, all of them warning people not to show up, all of them taking notifications away, and people coming to me saying they got to subscribe dozens of times. And that's clear on my charts, right? So, like I told you, bro, we could sit here and complain about what we already know to be true. That's true for a lot of other folks, and we can fucking be in our feelers and victim about it. Or you could just prepare yourself, start taking. You won't do it, and I might not either, right? And that's my failing at times. Is I procrastinate, I put things off. I'm not vengeful, so I'm not like motivated to take these people to task. I'd be just as good as anyone here at it, but I'm really not ambitious and motivated to get a whole bunch of money and check these motherfuckers. But they're going to force that to happen, right? They're going to force that conversation. So just start making logs of things. Just start screenshotting charts. Just start showing their notifications and their games, and compile the evidence. And like I told you, at some point over the next 3 to 5 years, if they don't stop playing games, this is the thing. They're riding the line with me privately, where they go, "We'll walk shit back. We don't know what happened." But then they go harder on certain things. So they're playing a game with me, right? And that's how legal people do. They will play with you. And it's really to your highest good if you let it be. Because I've told them, listen, and I know, because I don't bullshit people. I go, and I know, I probably can't get it done with suing you people right now. I just don't know what I need to know as far as process and procedure, first and foremost. Once I get them paperwork in and get a hearing met where we have the hearing heard, you guys are in you're going to be in trouble, I suspect. And I've told them that privately. So I'm really real about where I'm at and where my power is located and my value and all the rest of the things I talk about. Um, and I'm clear about the fact that the next level of usually what needs to happen. And I've been saying it for too long now. to myself and others, basically, is that we need to learn legal process and procedure. We need to start using the system for what it was meant for, and we need to start holding these people accountable. And if you think that you're not going to get a bunch of administrators in there and recuse them if necessary, right? Have them recuse themselves by pointing out the obvious facts of the matter. We will run through every administrator they have till someone is competent and capable and not derelict in their duty and willing to hear the facts of the matter. It will happen. It can happen, right? Whether it will happen or not, that's on the individual, including myself and everybody else within the sound of my voice. But I truly believe that if we all put ourselves to this process and procedure, we can hold these people accountable. We will take a whole bunch of money from them and they will be forced to cut the games, because there's no way they're going to be able to go to a court anywhere on the land and substantiate any of the behavior they've been involved in. And when I go and I show a pattern of behavior of like dozens of people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers coming to my channel, saying that I'm the content, saying that I got information, watching me consistently because I have a list of folks who are subscribed to me who all have 10x of my subscriber count, it's going to start to look really odd to certain folks. And I'm going to even concede, you know what, friend of the court I am, I understand that I have a lewd, crude, and rude presentment at times, and I'm obnoxious and verbose. See, interestingly enough, I thought that that's what makes somebody on social media. Turns out it works for everybody else. So maybe I just didn't do it good enough, right? I'll concede that maybe I drove people away, because that'll be the first point of contention, is that my personality and presentment is the reason why there's not more viewers here. But again, when we review the charts and when we review the 5 to 10 subscribers a day at least that they take away, depending on how much you're getting. See, depending on how many you get, they take an equal amount away every day. The charts show that, right? So all it's going to take is the proper process and procedure, everyone to show up, put the facts of the matter on record, and these folks are going to be forced to pay and then cut the games. And here's the problem too. You got a whole bunch of other motherfuckers I've worked with who are a bunch of bitch ass slaves, and they're only in it for their pockets and their presentment, and they're not willing to show up to any battle at any time, anywhere with someone like me, because they ain't got what it takes. So as long as they're getting paid and as long as YouTube gives them like taps every few weeks and every few months and they can get around it, they're not going to show up with me, for themselves, for the truth, for the rest of the people, right? And the platform. They just won't. So this is a call out once again to all you bitch ass motherfuckers, whether you like me or not, you're content creators. You know what the fuck they do behind the scenes. If you've had issues with it, then you should have issues with it. So you should be the first person and the last person to be standing next to me, if not in this venue when the time comes, to put the facts of the matter on record and to make more of a case that this is not politically motivated. Even better if you're not like me, because then it establishes credibility. Paulie Boy's just a weed smoking trailer gorilla and he talks all this real shit. Why would he be in here right now over this next to Brian Young, who's a good old white man? Right? He's a well-to-do white man. He's got all the presentment down, right? And he's admirable to many, right? And he's well received in the public, I'm sure. So why would he be next to, I don't know, Zach Hubbard or whoever the fuck else, David Rodriguez, DeCastro? What's the difference if you motherfuckers like me or not, or I like you or not, or we completely align or agree? I thought we were here for certain common principles and values and bonds and purposes. It seems it's not the case. And I got to always seemingly be the stepdaddy online and in life to stand on a certain position and lead and move forward from the front. What a better, great opportunity for me to actualize and realize, I guess. That's where I transition away from being disappointed in how little you motherfuckers show up for yourselves, the truth, or anyone else, the venue, when the time comes. I should get over. I should be well used to not being disappointed by folks' cowardice and lack of reconciliation and reverence with the communal force. What's true and correct beyond our personality, affects, and defects. Goblin creatures in the back. Greetings, goblin creature.
What's up, man?
How are you, sir?
I just came up here to tell you that I don't know what the fuck you did or what the platform's doing, but your numbers are going from 20, like 20 something, like 24, I think, and it's rolling all the way up to over almost 200 and then right back down. Back and forth,
Yep.
back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's weird. So you're another person putting it on record that I can't get an adequate counter here. And when I ask StreamYard, they say, just use Firefox.
No, they're doing something with your channel. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
I know, bro. They did they ragdolled the first one. Why do you think there's no more videos up on it? Because they're hitting it with strikes every few weeks, trying to keep 2 strikes on it so they can hit it with a third and delete it completely. So I got to get a bit strategic. So I took all the videos down onto private, and they're still playing with them in the back over copyright shit. So they're sifting through my shit on private, putting copyrights on me from shit for 2 years ago. I got emails from a week ago. Give me a break. I'm Teflon P. That's the problem. These fucking demonic slaves don't understand I walk with something higher than what they're relegated to. It's not going to stick. You're not going to be able to stick and move on me. You're not going to be able to play me out of my truest power and position. If you delete that record, it's going to stand as a record of not only your incompetence, but your intransigence and your corruption that you all are so comfortable
I believe
dealing
the
with.
reason why they're able to strike shit for copyright or whatever the case may be, I believe the way that they're able to do that on a private video is because even if you set your shit private, it goes up to other channels, or not other channels, but other platforms. You know what I'm saying?
The bottom line is that the content is not viewable by the public, so they should not be making determinations on it. I should be able to have private videos that I share with individuals, which does not incorporate the idea of corporation and copyright. I'm not a monetized channel at this point. Okay, they can't run that game on me. So what's our argument? This is public domain. This is publicly accessible. Anything that's publicly accessible and able to be listened to by an individual on YouTube is able to be restreamed or replayed by any network. This is well known. Where do you think PBS and the rest of them, they could play whatever the fuck they want for educational purposes or for satire, or if they do remixes. I've read all of this law and I've read YouTube's policy. They don't even stick to their own policy. It says right in there, if you take original content and you add images and sound to it, then you've recreated the content into something that is more your own, either for comedy, humor, entertainment, or satire. Why do you think I play videos of Slow State over my morning copyrighted material? Not only because I love fucking with him, but because it gives me a way to remix the content into something that is unslavian in origin and nature. You can't claim that it's King Von and Slow State.
If you've done absolutely nothing out of what you do regularly, then
YouTube didn't hurt me, bro. Mitchell's down there beating his baby meat now. Imagine disagreements.
Right now,
YouTube didn't hurt me, bro. YouTube hurt themselves and their credibility. YouTube's giving me an opportunity to come up big at some point if I focus myself. Where did you get the opinion that I thought YouTube hurt me?
Here's the deal. I want to apologize to Mitch. I was going to come up last night. He set a stream just so he could help me address the one I was just referring to. And you told me I told you already, but I don't think I did. I think I just got this yesterday. But I get the point. I tell you about the shit. It's the same shit. It happens to you. It happens to me. It happens to all of us. Well, not all of us. I don't know if Mitch deals or not. But
you're really going to do this right now? What Mitch deals with? He's a broken child, bro. You could tell that by looking at him. You want to get shallow to get deep? And then go to the patterns and the credibility or lack thereof and the cycling and the lack of control of oneself and all the rest of it. Do we really even need to explore this for the 1,000th time?
No, I wasn't finished.
You guys are way too accepting and tolerant of shit that is obviously a detriment to the individual, let alone to you who's making the determination. There's no amount of love that's going to change.
Say your numbers are going up and down because of the outages.
Listen, bro, I don't care. Yeah, there you go. And I didn't do that. My hands are right here. that's I told him yesterday. I said, could you explain my counter just varying 50 people at a time, second by second? Could you explain people getting thrown out all at once and asking me why I'm throwing them out, which was a common theme at one point? Could you explain why I can't even promote or pay for ads to run for any channel because they say it's terroristic and threatening? Yeah, we've gone over it, bro. We've gone over all of it. So let them keep playing games, let them keep showing themselves, let them keep putting it on record, and I'm going to have nothing but hundreds of hours of evidence to allow them to be shown for who and what they are in a venue where compensation can be attained. Greetings, Lewis.
What's up, boss?
Oh, the usual.
I can't wait to see how that mic is today.
Hold the spot. Say hello. Oh, fuck off, bitch. Is it good or not?
Yeah, it's working.
It's actually
Relax.
okay right now.
Don't get loud. Don't get loud, please.
All right. I'm just here to hold the spot and listen. Thank you for having me.
Mitchell, could you please not, and that goes for pretty much everyone, could we please not do the whole filling the chat up with like bitterness, resentment, interpersonal, metaversal, miscreant dynamics? Could we shy away from that potentially in this moment or for the rest of the broadcast? Is that possible? No, it doesn't. It doesn't piss me off. It's a cause of it's a cause. It's a cause for pause and reflection and introspection, right? Because I've seen this many times. There's many folks who will not contribute here, contribute here, although they're here regularly and seem to get value here. And then they'll go giving value to other folks who don't deserve it and don't provide anything. It's caused me to get more philosophical and kind of grounded in my purpose and meaning and value, and to kind of practice detachment from individuals' choices, right? Because that's their choice, that's their will. I'm not going to sit around keeping account for other people and of other people and what they do and don't do, right? And then try to figure out why it makes sense or not, right? It would drive me crazy. So no, it doesn't piss me off. It causes me to get more focused, if anything else, or grounded or more philosophical, which is always, I would say, a good thing for self. Okay, so he's not going to stop. It's one thing after another. So now you're going to force me to like ban all of your accounts, your various alternates, because you're obviously in a twist today. You're not going to stop if I ask you to, and you already came in here with my picture, and that's usually a good indicator of when you're like really ornery and bitter and you got something to prove. So I'm just going to get out ahead of that, and if I see any more of your alts, especially acting that way, I'm just going to ban them, and then you'll have no way to come here. So I don't know why you'd want to create that dynamic for yourself, but you've done it before, so we could do it again. This is a long game for me. Such is life. I've played these games with many folks who tried to break my will. They don't let you out of the game, so either you're forced to play or you're forced to end the game. However, that looks and feels like. Lewis, do you have anything? Peanut,
Yes,
Fluffer,
I
do you
just
have?
want to, if my mic is okay, I just wanted to respond to Mitchell
Beautiful.
for a second.
Surprisingly, it's working.
It's like
I know, please.
Mitchell.
We don't need a double commentary every time I say something. Okay, take a breath.
So
Let
Mitchell,
me
it
lead,
seems
Peanut.
to me, Mitchell, it seems to me, in my mind, I had this vision of him. I think it was yesterday or the day before. This is the quintessential preacher at the podium who's molesting the, the little students in the back, right? He's always
Children? Because I might be
whatever.
that preacher who is having sex with the
Well,
congregation. But if
you
you're
know what I
talking
mean.
children in the back,
Well, you
that's
know what I mean. Yeah,
unsightly.
doing the things that are not supposed to be done, and no one, and he's hiding it from everybody but himself, and he's going to call out everybody. He's the guy that if you gave him power, if he had true power, like whoever, Stalin, Hitler, name him, this is the guy that would fucking kill everybody.
Lewis, do you find it at all interesting that some of us during full moon period take it as a time to ground more and reflect, and others get, I don't know, I guess you could say, more of that lunatic vibe going on? And you also see Bitcoin move extremely, it seems, during full moon periods. There's oftentimes connections with that. What's going on
That
there?
was
Can you explain
yesterday.
that?
Wasn't that yesterday, the full moon? Or
Yeah, Bitcoin
yeah.
just went up like 20% last night, man. It's continuing to move up. There's movement of energy happening.
Yeah. Thank God Mitchell has no power. That's all I could say.
Well, I guess that's kind of like the Smeagol, right? You thank God Smeagol has no true power, but you're aware that within it somewhere is the original self, the truest self that is powerful. So I think that's what's a kind of a cause for the push pull that happens with people is you see the light in them, you see where their true power is, and they mistake that or they neglect that at times for a false sense of self and a false clutching for false power. It's very Lord of the Rings.
Yes. That the clutching is fucking the clutching with Mitchell is
You have to do unclutching. Lewis, don't be stupid. You must practice unclutching. Every time, day after day, Mitchell is coming here, clutching for false power, and it is undoing him.
yes.
Day after day. Don't do
Sadly,
this.
from such a smart man, I suspect possibly a good man in his heart, but just completely fucked
You're
in
on
the
the
mind.
click. You're on the fritz.
Ah,
You're on the fritz again, Lewis. This is why Fluffer was on you
okay,
earlier.
there.
And then this is what
Better.
happens, right? This is what
I
happens
fixed
every
it.
time, and then you wind up getting this kind of treatment.
Learned how to swallow everything else.
That's you every day. That's you every day, Lewis.
I
When
used
you
to
come
love
here.
watching those guys.
Yeah, I just got to give you the hand from now on. I'm just going to give you the hand like this. And then I'm going to expect you to leave. I don't need the snap, crackle, pop, bro. This ain't Rice Krispies
Gone. It's
broadcasting. This
gone.
ain't
It's
sponsored by Rice
gone.
Krispies over here.
It's gone, isn't it?
Oh, Christ almighty. Mamma
Yes
mia.
Come on, yes or no? What the fuck? It's gone. Okay, I'm gonna shut up and stay in the corner.
I really can't wait for you to get that $5 million property sold because you're like I can only imagine how much that you
Oh, you
realize.
can't wait. I know you
You
can't
can
wait.
only imagine. Well, those fucking Italian Jew children of yours are sitting around waiting to get something. It's only right your metaversal daddy has a bit of a come up that day. I mean, I'm not expecting nothing big, maybe 10%. Nothing crazy. You come up with 500 stacks. That'll square what you owe me for 2 years of torture and
That's
and
it.
guidance and yeah.
That's all it's
10%.
gonna take.
Dude, that's your fucking Jew scripture
Bob,
there with
man.
the Jesus character says you're supposed to tithe 10% to your local ministry or whatever fellowship you're a part of. You fucking slave. You're here fucking 2 years straight every day. I am your local ministry. I am that. So, I mean, I could expect at least 10% of tithing, unless you're some kind of animale. Unless you're some kind of non-Catholic, non-Christian, you grew up better than that. They raised you better.
We'll see what the money does to my mind, body, and spirit when it comes.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bring up me saving your family and saving that house and inspiring you to move on and do better. I'm not going to bring up anything that I've encouraged you to do for yourself because I really didn't do anything. I was just sitting here smoking weed. But by not doing anything, I pretty much did everything.
Hey, what if
Because
I
it's
put
very
you?
doing, not doing. It's very Taoist. Please, I'm speaking. What are you saying?
What if I?
Good stuff.
This is what I mean.
That's good stuff,
Lou?
Lou. That's
Out,
Lou. Hey, Lou.
And that's
you.
Lou. It's the That's Lou
That's
show
Lou.
starring Lou Bastone. That's the catchphrase every time the audience goes, "That's Lou." And then it just zooms in on his face like Porky Pig at the end of Looney Tunes. This is why he gets his treatment every time.
That's no way to treat. Get out! What? There ain't gonna be no party. Get out! Get out!
Lewis Norton. Oh man. All right, we're gonna move forward. Right. Pay Paul. And just understand that every donation, every free gift that you put forth, untaxable event, goes towards the SPLS, Society for Protection of Looping Slaves, Habitat for Slavery, various other organizations that I, of course, am head counsel on. Yeah, these also, let's be clear, that the PayPal system, which of course is not payment, it's not corporate, it's not service related, it's all friends and family, non-taxable, non-corporate gifting event. Those proceeds also go toward triggering beta male haters, which of course is always a good time. Some folks might say. Yeah. Link so I can put you in your place. Hey, bro, the link's been posted like over and over again. I don't know why you're doing the thing where I'm afraid to give you the link. Like I'll post it again. It's only been posted 10 times already. It's only right there. By put me in my place, you mean come up, be a time vampire, try to monopolize the broadcast, try to push your brand of Tommyism on everyone here, just like Talcott. When this isn't the venue, the venue is your broadcast. The only problem is on your broadcast, you can only get 10 to 20 live viewers at any time and 200 after the fact. And half of those people are there to mock you and laugh at you and to observe you because they believe you might be a danger to yourself or others. Isn't that right? That's right. Okay. We're going to move forward. We got breaking slave news we got to get back to. We prefer to die. Ultra-Orthodox Jews scuffle with Israeli police over possible conscription. Yeah, that's right, folks. The Jews don't support Israel. They lied to you again. Zionists. We're on the march to Zion. It's no way to treat a Jew. Oh. Is Israeli police anti-Semitic? Why are they treating those Jews like slaves?
To go to the Israeli army. For that, it means to us, they don't want us to be religious. Therefore, we prefer to die and not to go to the army.
Oh man, look at those anti-Semitic fake Jew Zionists treating the Jews like trash. Maybe they're not really for the Jewish people. Go on, please.
This is Rabbi Shmuley.
Looks a lot like the Carini family. See? Great minds think alike. Yeah. See? I want to tell everybody that everybody's anti-Semitic. See? Because they're for the Palestinians. See? Turns out they really don't support Jews, those Israelis. They were throwing them around like bags of leaves, right? Like it's fall season. They're throwing Jews around like bags of leaves. I don't appreciate that. Okay. So it's a bit anti-Semitic. It's a bit triggering. It's a bit controversial and chaotic. It's a bit revealing as well about who's who and what's what beyond what they tell you. Right? Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Understand who and what they are. You'll get further in this life. Let's see. CNN host taken aback by Biden's big announcement from an ice cream shop. Let's get on it, people. Important news.
Distributor Joe Concha. Joe, that moment at the ice cream shop, I think, is an example of what happens when you don't hold a lot of formal press conferences. Reporters are forced to ask serious questions when you have an ice cream cone in your hand. And it's a moment that CNN's Jake Tapper also picked up on. Listen to what he said.
God damn it, Paul.
Just moments ago, President Biden was telling reporters that he hopes to have a ceasefire and hostage deal in place for the Israeli-Hamas war by the end of the weekend. That's a big announcement from the president to be given in an ice cream shop.
So what do you think about that
Ice
image?
cream, optics.
Somewhat overshadowed a really big comment that the president made.
I mean, it's all about optics, right, Carly, Todd?
Whoa, what the fuck? Yo, you can't make this fucking shit up, my friend.
All right, penile power.
really can't.
This is why when I tell you to throw, let me get over my banner here. This is why when I tell you to throw an infidel, smelly Muslim out, you need to do it because I'm working with something here, brothers and
I'm working with
sisters.
something here too, my friend. Clearly.
Again, that's the thing. It's in all of us. I'm just a facilitator. So know where your bread is buttered. Know where the energy is highest. Know where the intention is the best and the purest. And then watch who all the demons flock to. That is where your true power and value is in a reflective sense. Because it's also within you, as you pointed out. See, there's your belligerence again. There's your resistance. There's your presumption that I put myself above you rather than reveal how you've put yourself beneath me in your choices and your lack of understanding and acceptance and reconciliation. Do you get me?
Oh,
You did it again. You did it again. I see the light in you that I see in me, or I wouldn't have you with me. Just accept that, okay? Just because I call you penile fluffer and I tease you about places where you've fallen short because I know you can do better does not mean I put myself above you.
I didn't think that you did. I just want a little respect on my name.
You do.
That's
They
all.
all do. You do. They all do. Nah, you do. They all do. You do. They all do. I know. I can feel it.
I just don't want people to get the wrong idea, right?
We got OTW Mobile. OTW's at the restaurant there. He's chefing up. All right, OTW. We're gonna watch you back there, monitor you, but we can't have the sound because it's yeah. There we go. It's a bit distracting, right? We got them calling shit out. You know, drop the fries, drop the shrimp, the whole deal. But we'll get the visual. It's a good visual. All right, get to work, OTW. These people.
We're serving an entree with a bottle of cat piss.
Right.
Hey, OTW, can you hear me?
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Ask your chef if he knows who this guy is here.
No, I don't want to bother the chef. If he comes in here and see me do this, he'll probably have my head.
Right, that's what you do, is to try to fish for compliments and try to seem like you're important.
Cut
You
his
get a
head
picture.
off. Cut his head off.
Oh man, what's Santos Bonace doing in the kitchen? I thought he's supposed to be. Yeah, I thought. Oh my god. Yeah, tell Santos to go carry out one of those things he's urging everyone else to do for him, like kill officials and all the rest of it. Sick freak. All right, let's move on. I don't know how much I can bear this. I got hair on me. Gross. Okay, I don't care whose hair it is. It's gross. That's why Muslims have. Can you please? I'm going to throw you the fuck out of here. I don't care if you're restreaming. You're completely off on your timing and you can't read the room and the energy and you still don't know my pattern at this point. It's a year and a half in, just like a woman. I go, it's a year and a half in and you're such a goofy bitch. You haven't observed me enough to figure out the patterns of your king. And yet you want to be treated like my queen. It doesn't work that way. You should know my patterns of speech and energy and timing and the rest of it. I do the same fucking energy. And every time that I speak and everything that I do, I have the same cadence, the same rhythm. I do the same facial expressions. It's pretty predictable. If you would just see, you're not even looking at me or listening to me. You're looking around the room. You're reaching for things. I don't know what to do.
I mean, I listen.
The fluffer's getting really bold. That's what they're saying down there. And I'm agreeing. Fluffer's getting bold. He's getting way too comfortable. And now we have Mitchell feeding back, another genius in the broadcasting venue and pretty much every other venue he finds himself in. The genius.
I just wanted to do
better, bolder, braver.
I already asked you, don't come up here with your Cash App because you don't need anything from me or this audience. You said, you duplicitous troll. Don't come up here with your Cash App in your name, you charity case. This isn't a fucking charity. Go to the Habitat for Slavery.
Shively. Thank you for the $20.
Shively. And I don't support that. I don't support that. Okay. And you can call me a jealous, bitter, envious hater. I don't support that and I don't respect that. Okay. This kid is not only a pathetic charity case who's like Talcott and won't work and won't create anything worth a damn. He goes around bitter, angry, resentful, ungrateful, unthankful, soliciting contributions everywhere that he calls people frauds and grifters. He's the lowest form of trash, and I don't respect anybody contributing to him and what he's not doing, because you're tricking him out of his power and position. You're making him think his behavior is acceptable, and his behavior has been the downfall of him since the beginning of his incarnation here, apparently. So you're not helping him, you're harming him, first and foremost, and you're taking value away from yourself and others where it could be more readily used for something with a higher purpose. Okay, so I suspect that folks should stop playing the mischievous game with themselves and others, stop supporting what they don't see value in, stop enabling low-level consciousness and awareness to continue to undo itself and others, and making it believe that it's on some kind of a movement for itself and others, right? It's, again, very Talcottian in its presentment, in its manifestation, in its results, and in its analysis. Steve Martin is here. I'll see you later, Mitchell. I'm not interested in what you think or feel or what you're here to play games and do today. We have a star in the flesh here today now. Not just the god of all media, of course, but NFL acclaimed. Oh, is it defensive back? I don't know anything about this football shit. Acclaimed star on and off the field.
No.
He's big. He's black. And he's back. Steve Martin. Greetings, sir.
I'm indigenous.
That's just for the tagline, man. You know that.
Yeah.
That's just the on-screen veneer. Everything's good, man. How are you? It's good to see you.
Hey, what's going on? What's good?
What do you have to bring to the table, man? You got anything, or you just want to kind of ride it out?
I always got something, but it's a hectic day. So let me just jump in wherever you were at.
Oh yeah, no, we were just addressing. Yeah, we were just addressing the, the usuals, the familiars, if you will. The shallow sort of miscreant metaversal misdeeds that allows me to go deeper on the consciousness and awareness of human beings. Go ahead.
In that regard, I do have some interest in stuff because I really found the real government. I mean, we think we're under Constitution. We think we have Bill of Rights. We think we all no, we don't have any of that.
Is it located on Epstein Island?
Probably. I mean, the thing is we're under this military control, and we have no idea that that's what's really controlling us. And what it has, I do have a diagram to show. It's very, very, very telling of what really goes on, but it really explains why everything's. You try something and it works, and then somebody else tries it and it don't work, and you get lost because it's like, well, I thought this was going to work, and it will. But then once you beat that jurisdiction, they just roll you back into other forms of jurisdiction, and it's just maddening. Here it is. Just found it. Is there any way I can share a screen on this?
All right, I'm putting OTW in the back because he's got people walking up and like leaning in and looking at us like we're in a fishbowl, and it's just disconcerting when I'm talking to Steve and trying to focus on what he's presenting.
Okay. So let me share screen. This is the one. Got it. Okay. I'm sharing it. Can you see it?
Yeah. We're up and at him.
Oh, there we go.
Zoom in on that, if you will. Getting close on that.
This is published back.
There you go.
Notice it's military government as of July 1949, but it hasn't changed. So this is actually what is truly govern us. And I could show you tons of examples of things that they cite out in here and exactly how the military basically captures whatever pillar of government they need to capture, and then they start controlling it. But this is a picture that tells 1,000 words right here.
Now, can we
So
get an
this is your
official reference
actual
point?
government.
Steve, try to make sure that your internet's on the best setting possible, because you got a lag, about 4 to 6 second lag at least. But give me a reference point on that document in case folks want to pull that up on their own time.
Can I put it on the chat? Because it's a public document. There it is. It's a public document. Anybody can see it. But this is, so what happens is during the war, let me go back to the previous one. During the war, this is how the war goes. So you got your theater command during the war. So the commander, which is the president or somebody, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, what have you. And then you got Naval, Army, Air. These are all the commanders. And then here's your Chief of Staff. And then your different generals. And then the actual military and government. And these are the components that they put in place to run the occupation or run as they're invading and taking over whatever the country is. These are the things that they're going in to put in place when they establish the military government. So when they go copy the power plants, they're going to put that under public utilities. When they go and conquer the highways and byways.
Basically what appears to be, I guess from a different perspective, the hierarchy and the makeup of what would be or what would look to be a criminal organization, much like one would lay out, in an office somewhere. You would have the makeup of a criminal organization and how they would kind of control territory and expand.
Well, this is yes, but this is through all of the Libra codes and military governance and all the different plans that they got to actually conquer a land. This is what they do. So yes, and then it can be criminalized at a later point, but they always are coming in with the virtue of human rights, equity in law. They pretend to be nice is what they're trying to say. But they ultimately, all of these elements here are what they use to control the community, the civilization. So here, civil communications, statistics and reports.
Go ahead and get zoomed in on that a bit more if you can, because I see the replay of how it looks on their end, and we could stand to zoom in at least 2 or 3 times there so we could read that. Yeah, there we go. Now we got more detail there.
Okay, so this is the main thing, is reparations and restitution. Okay, so this is where they're giving the people of the land rights. But during war, they have to suspend it because it's war. So you may or may not get rights during war. So there's no
Is that
model.
possibly why they constantly keep us at war, either domestically or foreign venue?
I'm getting there. So this is what I want to just say. But notice it says subsection to perform military government functions required by theater policy. So they're not doing this on accident. This is how they actually run shit. So when they're at war, they control. These are all the government elements they're going into control. So they're going to get the utilities. They're going to control your labor market. They're going to control the industry and manufacturing, commerce and trade, that's the main one for you and I. Is common in commerce and trade, food industries to make sure that people don't starve to death. Port control, which is controlling import and export. Statistics and reporting and civil communications. These are all things necessary. And then at the conclusion, they still have all those things encompassed in the theater of army forces, and they can redirect anything that they need to do at any time. Which goes to military. So it says a typical theater, army, military, government organization in the combat phase. So during combat, this is what they do. So let me come out and go to the other model. And this is during the occupational phase. Figure 2, a typical theater of Army military government organization for the occupation phase. This is the kind of stuff that proves that we are under occupation. Because, again, here's your main thing, reparations and restitution, right? But here in the reparations and restitution, look at all that's above you. It's the same as the other one, but this is post-war. So you have government, finance, supply, education and culture, displaced persons, and refugees. There's
that might tie into the war on immigrants, the war on drugs, the war on air, emergency declarations.
You're immigrants. So they're more important than the people getting reparations and restitution because it's a higher theater. It's a higher governance. So that's why they make it such a big deal. Transportation, legal, and we all get stuck here in the legal. So if you look at this, and here's another one, civil censorship. Why do you need that? Because they want to control the message. Whatever the message is, they're going to control that. So that's more important than your restitution and reparations. Okay? These are all superior jurisdictions to the jurisdiction that we're in. So, and when I say we're in this, because when you go to court, this is what you're looking for: reparations and restitution. You've wronged me. You've done something to me. I need reparations, restitution. You need to make me whole because your government's impeding on my rights. Well, the rights of your land can be suspended. When the rights of your land are suspended, then the government agencies take over and they control everything.
So folks are going to have to go over this document and look into this, but one would have to then step back and look at this again and realize that it would be fascinating to have to admit that this would be an official documentation or release or structuring that goes down into detail to the point of describing property control, civil censorship, food distribution, and all the rest
public
of
utilities, civil communications.
I mean, it's beyond Orwellian.
Industry and manufacturing. So basically, what they're basically letting you know is that the military can control all of these things and does. They'll set it up and allow it to exist. But then, if they need to militarize it, they will do it. So, and what I've been experiencing is, many people have, we've been experienced, we go here for reparations and restitution. Well, most people don't ask for reparations, but we're looking for restitution. And that you done me wrong, you've robbed me, I need my stuff back. What they do is put you in legal, make all these rules, statutes, ordinances, what have you. You have to follow them. If you break those rules, ordinances or whatnot, then they just kick you to another jurisdiction. And so this is how you jump in and out of jurisdiction all the time. They're flipping you back and forth. And like, so you beat them in statutes and ordinances, they'll kick you out. They'll send you over to public utilities or transportation or something. Transportation's easy because that's the police, that's the roads, and that's where they always catch you. So they get you caught up over there. And meanwhile, they'll go back and change the rules that existed under legal. And this is how they do us. So anyway, I just want to share that because that's what I've been working on here lately. And I've been throwing that in their face. And that was pretty entertaining when I threw it into the face of the judge at the last case. I went before. I actually got a standing ovation and power to the people signs when I was up speaking in front of the judge and got the judge to walk off the bench.
Don't you get them indigenous folks uppity? They don't like that, Steve.
Well, that's the other thing, is part of the whole thing in their governance is that they don't have any jurisdiction over indigenous people, which is why I say what I say, because all of those jurisdictions that they have are not applicable. The thing is you got to terminate all your contracts with all of those different jurisdictions. And if you have any contract with any of those jurisdictions, you're subordinate to that jurisdiction. Now, the thing is when they try to say that you've done something wrong, they're creating a new contract and they're trying to create a new contract and just have you re-edify that you're okay submitting to what they've told you and what
Right. Part of the veneer here is the entertainment broadcast, and I find it not only does better with the algorithms, but it's better when it comes to liabilities, because I make it clear that I add as much as possible an entertainment component to the informational aspects in order to have a co-creative endeavor, right? That I believe protects me and others well within our rights to freely express and to also use colloquial terminologies without putting ourselves in their jurisdiction technically. So here at the Unslaved broadcast, you are big, black, and all the rest of the entertainment veneer colloquial terminology, right? But as we know on paper, when it comes to a different venue, technically on record, you are indigenous, as I am in a sense, because I was born on this land. So you could argue I'm indigenous to this land.
Well,
It's not a colorist endeavor.
We have 4 to 5 generations that have been born here, so that makes you indigenous, period. So that's why we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, this isn't difficult. This isn't that mysterious.
Yeah. So what I found is through the Department of Interior, there is no provision for indigenous people, none. And with no provision, I mean, they got provisions for every type of Indian tribe there is, but they don't have any provision for any indigenous people. So literally, if you make your indigenous claim, you basically just have to prove how you're indigenous. And you can do that through probate, which is what I did. And when you prove it, then they're supposed to be hands off, but that doesn't happen. They are doing everything they can to not let or not recognize the indigenous governance that I've tried to establish. So that's the challenge. Is you'll find that when you actually beat down the doors, you're going to find the rock solid door of the military, and it's called provost jurisdiction. When they pull back to that, that's literally military strategy and military tactics. They don't tell you shit. There is no negotiation. There is no discussion. There is no I have rights. That all that shit goes out the window. The military in its occupational capacity, which is the same thing that Israel is doing. When they're occupying a territory, their only objective is to maintain the occupation until the people stand up and give clear declaration that they do not want to be occupied anymore.
Right. So again, we can lay all this out to understand it, and I think it's important that we do so. But the solution, once again, lies with the individual. The individual has to come to know who and what they are, what they're not, conclusively on some level, and be convicted by that energy within their heart to present that in any venue with some kind of competence and capability and clarity and differentiation from the United States citizenry owing an allegiance to a corporation versus the man or woman born on the land with natural rights given from the creator, can only be taken from the creator. And guess what? United States corporation and servants are not that. They are, in fact, the opposing side of things, in the sense of they are only there to serve that godly force and that trust. If they are not in service of that, they're in dereliction of their duty. Go ahead, sir.
I really wish people would understand that you shouldn't have to fight your government for anything. If your government is working for, if you're a working citizen, working person, and you're gainfully growing your family, doing what your rights are to do. If you're not causing harm and not causing chaos, you should never have to fight your government for anything. You shouldn't have to fight them for taxes. You shouldn't have to fight them for your vehicles, for your rights to property. You shouldn't have to fight, but we got to fight for everything. And the thing is like they're not telling you, but you're still a slave. They are making you the worst kind of slave, and that's a mental slave, and that you'll defend and protect them over your own family. And that's the heaviness of the responsibility of people to start waking and understanding what we're really doing. We're really falling into the trap, and because it's a trap, most people say, oh, well, I just don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable. But the reality of life is, in order for you to truly live in peace, you're going to be uncomfortable because someone's always trying to take it.
So somebody
And you
down
gotta-
there, Matt Geiger, is asking, how do you handle them trying to enforce property tax? I'm going to give you the same answer every time you ask me about anything related to property. I create the understanding or the awareness. I bring awareness to the existence of a trust in which property is held, and it could be a myriad of types of property that is held within that trust. It still all falls under the banner of trust property. Okay. And again, this relates back to the extension of the quote unquote individual for colloquial terminology, not technical terminology with their legal system, because they characterize an individual as an individuation of a United States corporation. So this is the thing, is that the law is expressed, not implied, and they're going to use legal system to pimp and hoe on you from your lack of understanding of what these words and terms mean. And they're going to presuppose these words and terms and get you to accept the terms of these words and the consequences that come with those words and terms. That's, again, pimping and hoeing 101. All they have is the game. All they have is the word. They got to take the original word of creation and pervert that to put you under their system. If you fall for their words and terms and their symbology, then they got you under their spell. They're going to pimp and hoe on you because you don't know who and what you are, and you don't know who and what you're not. And that's a lost, broken bitch as far as they're concerned. It's the same idea as husbandry. If you really want to get down to it, I'm sorry, Steve, I got to talk black on these people. I know that upsets you and many others, but I got to do it. It's triggering and it's effective. It's the same idea as animal husbandry, right? They want to talk about husband. Do you understand the idea? Animal husbandry is breaking a goofy bitch of her worldly ways and presentments in order to fall in line with the creative force, the archetype of supernatural creation, which is the man being the head of the household. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers out there for these birds, but that's the reality of it. So don't talk being a husband in a ring and then every kiss begins with K and all the rest of it if you ain't going to get back to the etymology of the word husbandry and the relation to animal husbandry. The same thing I got to do here constantly with grown men. The same thing the military got to do is break broken bitches of their ways that don't work for them or the collective. There's a worldly version of that, and there's a spiritual version of that. And that's probably why we laugh and joke about Jack Talcott in the little clip going up to the monastery, because what the fuck do you think a monastery is if it ain't another replication of spiritual pimping and hoeing, if you will? Proper instruction motivates people. So it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek there when I make the correlation, but it's the same idea, it's the same energy, it's the same format, it's the same kind of program. You're going to walk it or you're not. You're going to walk a line one way or the other. Either you're going to walk that line or walk the track. Go ahead, Steve.
So the thing I'd say with any and all tax, the thing we have to understand is the way they work. The IRS works both ways. It works for you and it works against you. And the thing to do with most taxes, you have to go get control of your trust, because if you don't have control of your trust, then they're going to say there's an imbalance in the ledger because they're charging you a fee. And you have the ability to offset it, but you don't understand how to do that. And if you don't learn how to do that, then they convince you to use their notes, because technically using their notes, Federal Reserve notes, is a crime, because only government employees are authorized to use their notes. So when you use their notes, they presume that you're a government employee, which makes you a member of the military, which makes you subject to all their rules and obligations. So the only thing we're supposed to do is issue credit. We're not supposed to do anything else because we're the captured people. So because we're captured, we're supposed to issue credit, and then the government employees go get the Federal Reserve notes to make whatever exchange it is that you're buying or selling. So if you're selling something, you're supposed to get credits back. If you're buying something, you're supposed to issue credits and then allow the government agents, the banks, to go and make the exchanges, because they're the only ones that are authorized to use those notes. But when you use the notes, then that makes you subject to whatever the rules and ordinances that they created, not law, rules and ordinances, because that's what they most get most people on, especially any civil case. It's all ordinances and rules. You're not in there for anything else other than a dispute with somebody else. And if you're disputing any of their Federal Reserve notes, then you're subject to their jurisdiction. So that's what's got to get you out of the jurisdiction is you can write checks, you can issue credit, but you do not use money or their money. You use any other means of exchange and negotiable
Steve,
instruments.
you ain't gonna go full wizard on me, are you? Because I know you. I gave one of you the other's number, and you might have been talking behind the scenes. You didn't go full wizard.
Oh no, yeah, Wiz is giving me a lot of this.
Oh man, because me and Wizard had like a falling out lately, as in he got in his feelers. Well, yeah, because bro, I mean, at the end of the day, right? If you don't have those fiat currency notes or some form of value to exchange with your fellow man, which is common practice, and you're living off of somebody else reservoir of that. And I don't believe that he has effectuated the transfer of ETFs, whatever they call them, electronically traded funds, with that trust system. So I got to call it as I see it, bro. My reputation, my credibility, my integrity, my word, is on this shit. What I do day after day, bro. So I can't play favorites, and I can't let anybody sit next to me who's not going to be ultra authentic and accountable. So I'm gonna call you out at some point, and I'm gonna ask you where you've effectuated this. If you can't effectuate it regularly, then I'm gonna have to go to saying we don't need to be talking about this and pushing this kind of game.
That's the issue. If you don't have it stored up, because what you have stored up with whatever accounts you have is credits.
Can you do it? Can you do it? Steve, just talk straight to me, man.
Can you? No,
indigenous.
you can't.
Talk indigenous to me, bro, like they do on the street. Okay, thank you.
Because they're not. What they won't do is let you control the issuance of your tradable, negotiable instruments. They won't allow that without them flipping it. So
because they created it, bro. They created the fucking name, the nomenclature, the all caps. They created that account. They created the banking system and the black magic, and you slaves want to suck off of it and live off of it. And I contend it will be our downfall. They're already going to give you that UBI. It's coming, and it's coming digital format style, right? Catcoin and all the rest of it. You'll be able to sit around, wear the goggles, jerk off, play fucking Minecraft, and they're going to pay you to just exist. And you're all going to come to me fat and happy and more stupid and less willful and disciplined and less self-sustainable on the land. Give me a fucking break. For thousands of years, motherfuckers had to do and be to get. And that's the only way out of this that I had to confront. And if you think that I like that, I was the antithesis of that understanding, much like Jack Talcott and many others on here. That's why they're drawn to me to either learn from me or with me, because I am them and they are me. Let's be clear about that.
Agreed. So the thing is that what you can't prevent that they won't let you do is the flip, because understand you create the credit. So when you create the credit, be a promissory note, check, or whatever, when you create that credit, they're going to flip it, because they're going to flip that credit and make it a debt. And when they make it a debt, now you're liable to pay it back, but you have to flip it again. So there are people that are doing numerous ways of how to flip it back, but every time somebody flips it back and is successful, they go and change the rules so they can flip it again. So that's the thing, is that we're caught in a paradigm where it's constantly them trying to continually flip your ability to create the credit that they need to use, because this is the thing, the enemy can't create anything. The enemy can only manipulate, deceive, and take from you. It does not create anything. Yeah. So because it can't create anything, it needs you to create something. So as long as you're creating something, the enemy can feed. But if you don't create anything, they can't feed. So it's
this is where I'm saying, bro. They're trying to say I'm materialistic and shallow, worldly for telling people to work a position in the community to generate value. But separate from that, it's like I don't believe that our highest good is going to come out of accessing the system and credit with the system. I think our highest good and value and abundance is going to come out of accessing credit with the universal system and the people that extend off of that. It's called communing, which is the root word of community. And it's been the best thing in my life that I've discovered because I've been the best thing for or with it, if that makes sense.
No, agreed.
So again, ask not what the fuck your country could do for you. Ask what you could do for your country, your land, your people, the force, the truth, and co-create from that space.
That's what I said, is that, what I say the definition of God is governance over domain. If you really start understanding that you have that power, not that you're God, but that you have the power to govern your domain, You're not trying to control somebody else. You're trying to control you. And when you control you, you have to control you in the spiritual self. So when you're controlling the spiritual self, that connection is between you and your Heavenly Father, and it's got nothing to do with anybody here on earth. And what they try to do is interrupt that, because they want you to look in the linear things you can see, touch, taste, feel, smell. It's something.
The
it's
timeline, the
tangible.
seasons, the
They
narrative,
want you
the false
something that you
record.
can touch.
Right.
So if you can touch it, they want to manipulate that and disconnect you from your spiritual self. And while disconnecting you from your spiritual self, you lose your communication with the universe in order to manipulate the universe as you wish to do it, because again, you have the powers of God. So when you control what you want, when you control where you're trying to be, when you control and do those things, it really pisses them off, because they really don't want you.
All right, so I gotta address Sean now. I gotta address Sean now, because he's gonna play games with me in the middle of me trying to do what the fuck I'm here to do, and this is why I can't have a lot of folks here. The least I could do, he says in private, is allow him on panel to co-create and potentially ask some questions that would benefit the initiates like myself. Do you do that regularly? Were you doing that, or are you doing what OTW is doing, leaning in, leaning out, tapping like I'm in a fishbowl, and distracting the shit out of me?
Dude,
Sorry, they say I have ADHD. It might be a me problem. So I did what was best for me, and right away I got to get static from the backstage from you about it. You see, this is the problem I constantly have in my life nowadays. I got to do what's best for me so I could do what's best for everybody, and then people try to tell me what's best for me and everybody. That doesn't get them to the same place and the same result. So what do I do with that, bro?
To be fair, there was a lot of power there with the two panel, which is you and Steve. But there were some questions that,
right, and that's why I did it, bro. And that's why I did it, because I contend that I have a pretty good eye for this broadcasting shit, at least when it comes to the regular average Joe, salt of the earth person like myself, trailer gorilla. So I try to run with my intuition, and I try to run with what the narrative is, and I try to run what the energy is. And it's the moment that I do that, and it's not a complete asylum here or looking like some kind of drug counseling meeting, it's like an issue for everybody, right?
It's not an issue. It was just a little dramatic. That's all. You basically.
It's just a little dramatic that I just moved two people backstage so I could have a conversation with Steve about the material and stay focused. I'm the asshole once again.
A little bit. I mean, I'm just saying.
A little bit, right? A little passive aggressive. I'm the asshole, and this is why I have to get ultra aggressive with folks, because their passive aggressive shit kills me, and the motivation and the intention and the material and the content and all the rest of it.
Well, I apologize if it seems I'm being passive aggressive. I made a silly face at OTW for being weird, and then you backstage me. It's all good.
Right.
If you
so
want,
it's like we're back at class. I have to be in the front of the room with Steve Martin teaching a class, and then I got students, or as you put it, initiates in the back making faces, leaning in and out, tapping like we're in a fishbowl, serving dishes and making noise, and all the rest of it, bro.
It's gonna be.
At what point does it become maddening and circuitous and cyclical and detracting and demeaning away from some kind of energy, inspiration, and purpose? It's not like I do this shit regularly. It's like when I hold someone in high esteem or high regard on some level because they're competent and capable and they've had levels of success and they're pursuing a higher order of thought and results, I try to prioritize that for certain obvious reasons. Steve Martin is one of those people. So why is it that when I give the inmates free run of the asylum every other day, and I choose for 10 fucking minutes to focus my intention on a purpose and meaning and an inspiration energy that I believe is higher than what is usual, and right away you want to bring me down and everyone else down from that? And you're going to tell me it's vibing high, right? Like we didn't just do the last 100 days with a bunch of fucking miscreants, deviants, clowns, and wannabes. We didn't do enough of that. You want to get back to that?
I'm curious. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't extremely on topic as far as the chart you were showing there. Which, by the way, that's the file you left in the back, correct?
Yes.
I didn't open it yet. Okay. All right. I appreciate that. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to do specifically with what you were talking about or where you were just at before Paul addressed me, but I yield, and I want to continue to listen. And yeah, I do have some questions. No, I mean, I do have some questions in mind, including where you kind of started on your journey, for lack of a better term. I also wanted to ask about the affidavit of denial of corporate existence and a couple other things, but I yield.
That's actually a good question, because all the affidavits and everything they tell you and program you to write, I mean, they got so many ways, and I literally just seeing that diagram for, I've been at this a long time, but when you see that diagram and you see how all the stuff, there's 20 different jurisdictions that can come in and interrupt your whatever you're doing. So when it comes in and they interrupt you, I mean, they throw you off your kilter no matter what you got. So you got an affidavit of whatever, they can wipe their ass with it, because when it comes down to it, they can go eminent domain, take you to the provost jurisdiction, and shut down anything you're doing, because that's where I'm at right now. Regardless of how good you done did it and how hard you done hit it, it just shuts you down. Hold on a second.
Answer you the first.
Yeah, penile powers my provo jurisdiction in this broadcast. He just comes in, shuts me down.
Not to be confused with Provo child. Sorry, Provo kid. Provo planet.
That's exactly how synchronistic is that. It's the same type of energy, even at court. Just comes in, does whatever it wants, shuts you down, and tries to move off the energy and the alignment and the perspective. How fascinatingly synchronistic. All right, everyone go off camera now. All right.
Hey,
well, we're gonna let.
At least I'm not this guy. Or this guy.
This is why I try to tell Steve, don't date white women. They're always talking.
Or this guy.
On the phone, at Starbucks, everywhere you go. You didn't listen to me. Obviously, I'm teasing. I don't know what Steve's personal dynamics are, and I'm sure I don't want to know, because I may speak something that will put myself in ill repute with him. It's happened before. I don't want to believe what happened with him. He seems like a really real one, whatever that means. But it's been known to happen, right? They used to call me Mouth for nothing. All right. Penile Power. Any more questions, comments, concerns, narratives?
Yeah. How are you, brother? Really, how are
Okay.
you? Seriously.
I'm blessed, sir. You know that. I'd have to be. I'm here with you, and Steve Martin is here. NFL superstar.
To be honest, the reason I gave that descriptive comment there in the back, well, one of the reasons is I just negated a family visit to stay here, as opposed to go visit someone in a mainstream medical establishment as well, which is another reason I really don't want to go. So,
are you trying to make me feel guilty that, like, because I'll tell you to go right now. You should just leave here right now.
No, it's too late. I already missed my ride. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that was. But yeah, I mean, feel free. If you got, like, if Granny's locked up, slaved 2024, and she's in a glass box, and you have an opportunity to go view her for safety, then you should get on that. You don't know how many of these chances you might have left.
It's just like, who would want to go to a military junction just to see someone get the same toxic concoction, thinking that's going to help, while it only leads you to a closer destruction?
I mean, again, maybe you should, like, take some fucking responsibility and accountability and obligation. Maybe you should, like, give somebody a good word if available. I mean, do you just seek to exist in this realm as an observer constantly and never have any effect on people, places, and things of the environment? I thought you're a wannabe influencer. Isn't that what you're doing here? Isn't that why you're pulling on my coattails, as the man down there says? Isn't that what I am, whether I want to be or not? Indirectly or directly, an influencer, like they all like to say nowadays. Isn't everybody an influencer before they were influencers? I'm asking question.
I would say I've had proof that I guess I very much am a quite influential, character, considering some of the recent happenings. So
yeah, you're like the Keith Richards of number counting.
Well, I would say I'm much more dynamic and multifaceted than number counting, but.
Sorry, I was typecasting.
Yeah, that's just one thing in the toolbox, sir. But I really do appreciate you helping me to kind of pull back from the number counting and go towards more, the rap. Rights, freedoms, principles.
I know the thing, yeah.
Faith. Yeah.
Right. Nothing that I actually do or stand for, if you ask some folks.
Or as TML says, sorry.
Ask other folks. It's why I have warrants and have been put in jail over and over again.
Right. Rights, freedoms, principles.
Yeah,
You know, that's what I got.
That.
You know, that's what I got the strike for, right? It was you, TML, and OTW, Buttonheads, and I basically screen recorded on
You're making
StreamYard.
it all about you and your horrible channel again.
Okay.
This is what you keep doing.
We'll move on. The horrible channel, you go on.
Thank you.
Semi-regularly.
All right. I'm going to get back to the breaking slave news, and we'll let Steve Martin come back at some point and re-engage. If not, we'll just carry on with the docket. I always enjoy when he's here. I kind of like when he mixes in with the court stuff, the legal lawful, gives me a direction and a purpose that I may not be as motivated at this time to engage in, but that's a positive thing, right? I don't see that as a negative thing. It seems to be that's part of what I've been formed for as a purpose and meaning by the universe, with the universe. So if I can have someone here who draws that out of me, I think that's better for all of us, I suppose. So, and then too, I like when Steve we can transition. No, not like the Democratic Party would have you transition. There's no hormones involved in this.
Shout out to Rachel Levine.
I don't know what that means. If you could stop just waiting for me to pause even for like half a second to say something, that'd be great. It's really distracting and obnoxious. And just really kind of proves you're not listening to anything I'm saying, nor do you respect me, nor do you find me interesting or entertaining. And that's fine. I got a lot of folks, mostly my friends and family and ex-girlfriends. Notice I use the term ex-girlfriend, a term that I don't use, but used colloquially so the rest of you slaves would understand what I was saying. Because you, I'm sure, go around town going, my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend. When I do that, it's in quotes every time. What was I saying? Yeah. No idea. Because Penile Power had to yell out, Rachel Levine! Rachel Levine! Like some kind of horrible skyrider. He just zooms past the screen and there's a puff of smoke and some kind of lettering in there. And I have to then decipher what the fuck that is in between my daily comings and goings. Tard Fest, right. We look forward. Steve can't be a part of Tard Fest. That's the thing. And that's what's also disappointing. There's many folks of high esteem that I hold in high regard in my life. They can't be a part of Tard Fest 2024 because they don't fit the bill. You know, I mean, I'm riding the line by emceeing and hosting because I'm arguably a tard. It could be argued. Steve is not going to be able to fit that bill, so he won't be joining us. Okay, but we work with what we have, people. It's part of the Tao of the Tao. That is the way to the way. Your thoughts, Christos? The giraffe riding forest nymph?
Yeah, I just wanted to say shout out to in a cult with 23 thoughts. Please subscribe to Pineal's backup.
Well, the backup to the backup, actually. But yeah, appreciate that, sir.
This is like every party if I was to get invited to by like college kids. I just go there and I just keep chain smoking weed and waiting for the moment when the conversation gets relevant, interesting, entertaining, informative, inspiring, or waiting for the women to show up. And it never happens. It's just me and Penile and Christos. And then it's Steve Martin in the corner taking calls from one woman after the next. That's how it goes. I'm trying to give you folks a peek into my reality. I don't know how I find myself in these places with these people. Who are these people? Okay. Can we get back to the breaking slave news, Pino? Because we never got to Joe Biden and his ice cream announcement.
Oh man, you gotta get to the.
Yeah, I didn't need an answer from you. It was rhetorical.
Okay.
On October 7th, think about all the months that have gone by since November, December, January, February, right? You are in the hands of these monsters. And here you have this elitist president in New York City holding a big ice cream cone talking about, hey, we may have a deal by the end of the weekend. He should be doing that in a press conference or in an Oval Office type of setting, not with Seth Meyers, the biggest fanboy on television that interviewed him last night. And it looks horrible.
Look at him looking around.
Touch, and this is why this president is now officially the underdog.
It's literally like viewing an animal. You know I get that rap here, but it's like viewing some kind of an otter creature that just got a hold of a treat that it's not used to having, and it's like licking it and looking around, and you feel like you're connected to it on one level, and then there's this other level where you're not quite sure if you are or not. Like, does it really see you the way that it is and the way you are? I don't know. It's a strange experience. This is why I love viewing Joe Biden. It's exactly like going to the zoo.
As far as winning back the presidency in terms of his reelection to Donald Trump at this point.
It's that word that
it's nostalgic for me.
Over and over again with you, Joe. The unseriousness of this
brings me back to a childlike state.
I understand you got a question. Maybe you want to answer. Put it down. Just don't appear so nonchalant. Thousands of people are dead in this war. Thousands more are probably going to die.
Allegedly.
This is kind of important stuff. There was an
Rachel
interview
Levine,
not just ice cream. It was with Seth Meyers.
Bodyguard. I was just gonna say you're pretty. There you go. See, every once in a while you get it. Because I was just about to say, you're pretty much a more involuntary celibate version of that kid, Vincent Size, who comes here and goes, "Hey, guys."
More involuntary?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
That guy's only like 18, 17. I don't know how old legally. He's whatever legally is cool. That's how old he is. 17, 18. You're like, 32 at this point. And you just come in, you're like, "Hey, guys. Rachel Levine, you guys know Rachel Levine, R.I.P. Gay frogs, bodyguard," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" This kid's like, and when I meet you, I go, "This kid's a fairly like connective being on some level. He seems like he has an ability to be competent and capable. I don't know. I want to believe that. That's the thing. I spoil my online children. They talk when they should listen. It's apparent that I may love them too much because I see them for what they could be, not as they actually are. And then all of a sudden, in a flash, I see Vincent Size overlaid with penile power and screaming, "Rachel Levine, and a horrible ending." You get what I'm saying? We're learning. Yeah. I think another year and a half, we're going to get it together. You and I and you.
Indeed, sir.
It's there.
I know that's
we're working
true.
on it.
I know that's true, sir.
We're working on it.
I know that is
I have the same conversation with pretty much everyone in my life. It never seems to go well long term. Police release photo of gunman wanted in deadly Brooklyn deli shooting. Again, this isn't news. They kill people every day in Brooklyn on the subway and the deli, just pretty much wherever, broad daylight. And by the way, I know this is going to be shocking. You're not allowed to have guns there. So how they're doing this is beyond me. Okay, some kind of black magic. We got all the laws / legal policies and codes in place. Why do people, all the bad people seemingly, have guns? The policy enforcement, the Bloods, the Crips, everyone who's a psychopath, sociopath, or a deviant in the community has weapons. Not the average citizenry, of course, not the owner of the deli. No, he's not allowed to protect his pastrami with deadly arms, or even his life for that matter. So let's get to that. Okay, another complete failure. Please, penile power. Another complete failure. Not you. That's what you must have thought I was talking about you. That's why you piped up right there. No, not you. A complete failure of governance and policy and code and systems. See, you got to wait to find out what the complete failure is before you just identify and then pipe up.
Do you want to know why I actually piped up and said that crazy? Because you said pastrami and
I don't. No, I don't. I just want to keep the flow of the broadcast. And I just want to go to what I just said I wanted to go to.
Move along, sire.
Thank you.
For the gunman who shot and killed a worker at a bodega in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. This surveillance image of the suspect was released by police late this morning. CBS 2's Christina Fenn reports the victim's family says it began with an argument over a cigar.
The deli has reopened, but
so just so you know, you're doing it again, the broken child syndrome, where you now start mumbling under and over the clip. So you ask me directly what I want. When I tell you, you give me the opposite, and you do it in a passive aggressive way to make sure you were seen and heard again when it's not working. Anything registering here, or are you just like in this egoic shock where you have to like defend yourself or justify yourself or act like I'm being an asshole? Salty Siren now asking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Then pointing out the obvious, you're not even this talkative on your own broadcast. Again, another kind of example of the passive aggressive dualities of these folks. When you give them the stage, they got nothing to say. When you tell them to shut up, they go to peeping and chirping and cheeping like some kind of parrot. Is she an asshole? Is she a cunt now? Because I'm an asshole. Is she a cunt? This is why, again, I think that she should send me naked pictures and email. And when she does, she eventually will. I won't tell anyone on here. I'm a very gentlemanly individual. I would not do that. I'll ask for the naked pictures. I'll cajole her into giving them. And once she finally does, I will not reveal to anyone that I have them. I will only use them for my private purposes. And she can share in the magic that is me and is her. Right. So again, we're perfect because we see the same thing. We have the same, assertion of what's going on. And she's going to tell you in a realistic manner what she's perceiving, just like I will. So she's the perfect cunt and I'm the perfect asshole. See? This is what makes perfect relationships.
And I'm the perfect penile pineal.
The email's down there, by the way. This is Siren. Live up to your name, please. Okay? I hate when these bitches come on here and don't live up to their names. All right.
Well, at least Christy Lee Dawes was talking about blowjobs yesterday.
Yeah, big deal. All she's doing is talking about it, and then she's going to date yellow-skinned, dead-eyed cretins for 6 months at a time while she dick teases here, like many other broken females who come here who will not be mentioned. They're in situationships behind the scenes, but they come here every day in Paulie Boy's face. They will wish I was coming in their face every day. Excuse me, I didn't mean to be lewd, crude, and rude.
Whoa.
That was triggering. Yeah, I went over the line. Every once in a while it happens. I'm going to rein it in. Okay, I'm going to rein it in right there. I'm going to call it right there. Family broadcast. But they come here every day. They wish they were coming with me every day. And then they go back to their horrible situationship and don't suck dick. Right. And then they come here talking about everything they want to do and be, but never actually live up to it. And when given the opportunity to rise to the occasion, when I rise to the occasion more aptly, they can't cash the check. You get what I'm saying? Because they're not really about it anywhere in their life. Rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, conscious awareness, sexuality, even an expression of that fully and completely and authentically. No, they're not into completion on all levels. So they half step and lukewarm and fence ride constantly. And they don't understand that I see it a mile away. And it's a fucking embarrassment, not only for you, but for me, because you constantly genuflect to me, but don't listen to me, don't respect me or the truth that I'm talking. And you damn sure don't toe the line, as far as I can tell. So stop me wherever I'm wrong here. Stop me where I'm triggering and I'm getting everybody's delicate sensibilities. Stop me where I'm doing toxic masculinity and I'm showing my true colors as an egotistical narcissist. Oh, wait, that was probably a while ago. As soon as you went to question a woman or hold them accountable, you just catch that rap immediately, right? Because these are such broken, weak, victimhood people, right? We can't talk to women straight with what we see and what we experience. No. They're too beneath us. They're too hypersensitive. See, do you want that rap in your life? Do you want to be a broken, childlike victim? Or do you want to be able to talk straight and be talked to straight and to come to an understanding and a commonality when it comes to the vision and the purpose and the outcome? I'll wait. Again, let's talk husbandry versus your romantic relationships that get you nowhere, but sitting somewhere reading some fucking 50 Shades of Grey novel. Give me a break. It's time to know our purpose, our meaning, our position in life and in the household and in relationships and in a community and what that looks and feels like and how it expresses, and leave the rest of the bullshit where you got it. Your toxic friends and family members and your horrible institutions and media-driven relation systems. Your thoughts? Christos? Penile? Is Steve Martin back yet? I only hope Steve Martin is back yet.
He wants you to. Steve wants you to text him the link on his cell.
I don't even know.
I'm guessing the panel link. He probably got disconnected on his laptop. Maybe. He's probably mobile.
Okay. So here's how I'm going to do that. Put it in chat if anyone else wants to come up. I can imagine folks are raring to come up now after the tear I just went on, right? That's how it's going to be perceived. Paulie, I just went on a tear. You should have seen it over there. We're not going up there now. We don't want to be the next one. I at least applaud Penal Power because he's willing to come here over and over again and to withstand my harsh and biting criticism and critique at times, which I know is not for everyone. Right? It tends to trigger, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to put forth the notion that I have a lack of respect for you. So it's pretty bold and
Well, it's more of a lack of
dare I
respect for
say
yourself.
extremely ignorant and
It's more of a lack of
nonsensical.
respect for yourself and the truth that
Go ahead.
translates over to me. That's a common theme with folks. It's not, I don't perceive it as directly toward me necessarily. It's indirectly toward me as a result of how you see yourself and the world, and by proxy
Respect.
myself, how it all fits together, if that makes sense. That's just what I perceive.
It
I
does.
could just be projecting onto you. I've gotten that rap many times. There may be some truth to it. I can only come at it from the perspective that I'm at, and I step back from it and look at it again, and I don't see any inconsistencies. So I have to kind of move with that. Steve Martin seems to be back. Steve Martin, are you back?
Yeah, I just got back.
Okay,
Sorry
I was
about
trying to
that.
send you the link, but no matter.
Yeah, I got it. I can't even begin to say it. Every time I get on the show, something out of nowhere just stops me. So
Weird, huh?
yeah, go figure. Must be too much good stuff going across there. They try to block the path.
Right,
So
you can't have it all at once.
more or less. Yeah. So, all right, where was I? I can't even remember what I was talking about. I've been jacking with so much dumb shit.
Well, let me ask Paul. How did you feel about what he said in regards to, when I asked the question about the affidavit denial of corporate existence, and then he went on to explain that regardless of whatever you fill out, I mean, they're still gonna do what they're gonna do if they want to do it. So,
But this is why, again, the only gap that me and Steve seem to have is that he has a different purpose to apply this information, and we've addressed that in the past. He has tied up funds that he's trying to access and utilize, which you could argue contractually are his to do so with. But again, because I don't find myself in that position, I don't find a necessity or an importance to know the information to apply it that way. Right. So again, I just keep it simple, keep it basic. My understanding and the information I put forth is usually relative to someone who is just trying to retain the property and rights that they have naturally and what they co-create with.
So,
Right.
and I'm to try to segue where things are at. You got choices, and that's the two greatest gifts you got: the gift of free will and the power to choose. Paul chooses to walk away from it, and there are several that choose to just walk away. I don't want your shit. Get that shit out of my face. All you're gonna do is beat me up with it. So get it out of my face. I got a lot invested in it. And because I didn't know I was investing in it, I'm like, shit, I want to get my return on that shit because it's exponential. So that's where everybody just makes their choices of what you want to do.
And then I got to point you towards Steve, like I have done in the past, just because I believe it's in your own best interest and probably everyone else is here indirectly long term. It may be a selfish endeavor. I think that you may be, and again, you're going to have to come to this determination. I look forward to you proving me wrong. You may have to come to determination that you're wasting the rest of your nows trying to access a financial credit from the past when the now is all you have, who and what you are at this point, and what you can produce with who and what you are and what you have, and then call in more value that is not within their jurisdiction because you are not in a corrupt contract with the devil, essentially, the NFL, if you will.
Well, there's several caveats to that to break that down. The main thing is that we're all in it. And the thing is what they did is they've come up with a masterful way to enslave your mind through language. So words and definition are absolutely critical because they manipulate the language and when they talk in one jurisdiction, those very same words have slightly different meanings in their other jurisdictions. So it's just understanding that we're in a vicious cycle that's getting worse. It's not getting better. They're becoming more masterful, and it's evil genius. You got to give them their respects that they are ingeniously enslaving us, and we're conditionally accepting it more and more and more and more. And the more we accept it, the worse it gets.
And this is where I come to a point at a certain time, which is why you describe me the way you do. I believe that our greatest value is our time, energy, attention. That's what produces everything else, along with our understanding and application. If we orient ourselves towards that, then we no longer engage with this system, which is on some level reflective, vampiric, and parasitic. It seeks to take your time, energy, attention, and to compel you to try to play from a different level of status and perspective. So this is why I walk away. It's not because I don't, again, I will use the system as it's meant to be used when I see absolutely necessary to avoid the alternative, which is uncivilized, as they say. Right. But ultimately, I engage the least as possible with it because it's not going to take my most valuable resource, my time, energy, attention, my conscious, my awareness. It's done too much of that already.
And so if you think of it like this is 100% the Matrix. If you haven't seen all the movies, I would tell you to go watch them and just think about this system in the whole entirety. Because the bottom line is the system is designed to keep you at a place where it's not that they're looking for your physical electricity. They're looking for your spiritual energy. They're looking to break your soul and ride you like an animal for your entire life. And Pulse Solution is not a bad solution. Get out of this stuff, enjoy your life, enjoy what time you have because it's limited, and it's a choice.
And because I'm the John Lennon of my era on heroin without a bass guitar, right? Or maybe whatever guitar it was. So I believe that Steve Martin could get to more value than he's already fighting for, given his most precious value, his time, energy, attention, and future to a system that has thrown us overboard long ago. I think that your time, energy, attention could be better suited and could get you more value and more fulfillment from yourself and what you co-create. And it doesn't stand as a defeat and a loss. It stands as a testament to your ability to detach.
But it's a different way. And again, if you knew what the outcome was going to be for what I'm doing, then you could say, yeah, keep going or stop.
Are we talking millions here at this point of fiat paper currencies?
We're talking freedom of self is what we're really talking about. And when we talk freedom of self, that's the ability for them to come and manipulate whatever they want to manipulate in my life. They won't be able to do it anymore. That manipulation, they have to come at me straight. And if they come at me straight, then I see what they're coming. Oh, you got a gun. Okay, so I'll go get one too. Oh, you got a knife. Well, I'm gonna keep my gun. Whatever you coming at me with, you got to, because their manipulation is a code which we're all trying to figure out. In my belief, is a code that's built on universal energy and their exploitation of that energy, and that means they have to operate with honor because that energy is infinite. It can create anything, and when you use that energy to create whatever you want to in your life, I mean, it's life-changing ability. They don't want us to know this because if we know this, then we become as powerful, if not more powerful than them. But most of them, because they've got nothing but evil in their soul, they can't create. So they have to rob us in order so they use us to create what they want and then keep us destitute in that creation. So it's bigger than money. Money is a level of energy. It's a frequency, and it operates for the betterment or detriment of whomever, which is most things. Most things have a good and bad side to it. It's the yin and the yang, always. You never get the good without the bad, and you never get the bad without the good. They are always intertwined because that is how energy flows. So we have to keep in perspective of what we're trying to do and what we're doing, because again, you get to those sellout points where you get a chance to sell your soul. If you get close enough to them, you're going to get a chance to sell your soul. And if you get that chance, the selling of the soul is pretty damn cheap, because having faith and perseverance and tenacity to continue to fight on and say, no, I'm not going to compromise my soul and my beliefs just to get that bag for today, because that bag comes and goes. but my soul
Right,
is
but that's
eternal.
why I'm saying I see Steve Martin much like I see, because I see self as self on the land, growing, being as independent, self-sustainable as possible, starting a broadcast, getting at least couple hundred, bucks worth of value privately. And if you can make that work, with whatever else is provided, you can start to create your own thing and have your own source of recurring value and go where you're celebrated, not where you're being tolerated or trying to be pimped on. And again, by putting your time, energy, attention on them, they got you even if they don't got you, if there's no upshot to this. And the upshot is only fiat paper currency notes as far as I could see. And I think you can get more of that doing a different lifestyle.
But see that you got to know what I'm doing. I literally been on the phone all day getting our investor locked into my company. So we're going to secure and create means for which the name, image, and likeness is going to make money going all the way through high school. So I got a son that's graduating high school this year. That's a value to him. If I can get him to make $50,000 to $80,000 for the next 4 years of his college career, how much of an advantage does he have? If I can open the door for him to go from Division 2 to Division 1 and go from making a living wage to making exponential, where he can make $2 to $3 million while he's in college, how much of an advantage is that for him? Why are you going to the school in the first place? To get a better education so you can have better job opportunities, allegedly. But what I'm saying is we're going to flip the script. We're going to open the door to the private side of the universe so that people can understand how to operate privately as opposed to being this public slave. And when you learn how to operate privately, then you will learn about private trust. You learn about keeping your money out of their system, and your money or credits can now grow exponentially. So, case point, here's my goal for my son is 4 years, 4 million. Well, with the private trust, he can put all that money in the trust, pay himself a salary to the public, 60 to 80 grand a year, and within so he plays 2 years and he gets $2 million. At 21, 22 years old, that's unfucking believable kind of money for just him. And there's hundreds of there's 108 Division 1 universities. So if we work this out so these kids can come out of college with $2, $3, $4 million in their pocket, they can buy homes and everything, and not with the private family trust, the trust holds the name, image, and likeness, not the university. And with that being the case, now the kid controls how much money they make over their life. So nobody can use their name, image, and likeness without the express written consent of their trust. So nobody gets pimped anymore, or you cut the pimping down. Not that you don't get pimped, you just get part of the action. Whereas normally
I
you
don't.
don't get anything.
I may be defeatist in this area because that's probably the reason I have walked away and chosen the path I have, because I just believe every price comes with a cost long term with these people and their game.
But
So
that's the thing
you play
is that
outside of the game as much as possible, and I don't know if we're at a position right now where they're going to honor any of this that's put forth, even if it's righteous or can be explained or defined. I think that potentially we're in a different time now, and I think that the macro environment and scenario is kind of dictating that in some senses.
Well,
Right?
this
It's
is
like
kind of
we're
my
going
point
ahead with New
because
World Order and fascism, and now you got to distinguish yourself from the corporate B system and these folks who want to play with paperwork and presentments versus being a man on the land generating true value a true way, and just pretty much forsaking these people for whom there is no faith in.
so
Right?
the thing that I'm doing is I'm living on the land still. The thing is they got the yoke around our necks, and they're the ones that control what fruits come out of our labor. I'm taking control of that back, and I'm showing others how to do it. Not only showing how to do it, but you can live free and independent within the system, basically taking it over because they don't really have control. What they have is manipulation, in which they've convinced us to go ahead and yield to their order. When you
Well, then
take
you're
that
gonna have
away,
to do it, and then you're gonna have to show me how to do it, like I told Wizard, because I can't shoot anything but straight with you. I don't believe in it. I haven't seen it effectuated.
Fine.
And I think the more time and energy, attention we spend on it, the less we're spending on ourselves and each other and building a community that is functional from the ground up, absent
So,
this ridiculous system.
so again, this is where being part of the matrix and understand you're speaking of Zion, which is essential. I'm speaking of the Nebuchadnezzar, the ship that goes in and out of the matrix back to Zion. That's what we're building. I'm not trying to build the matrix. I'm trying to build the ship that gets in and out. And that's what I'm saying is that is getting to the path of freedom, which both are essential to do that, because we can't build inside of there because it only makes their machine stronger. We have to build outside of it, which I agree with you 100%. So that's really the only dichotomy. That's the difference, is that I'm going to go back inside the bitch here and there, but I ain't living there. I'm going back there to do what needs to be done to get the resources out to build a better Zion. And that's what we're doing. So everybody's got their calling, and I'm not here to judge, what your calling is or what my calling is. Only thing is kind of like you say, when we talk and we come together, it's like butt cheeks coming together and getting some shit done. We could do some things. And that's what it is. It's just fellowshipping and sharing the wisdom and knowledge that we've gained through our courses of life and what we're going through in our experiences. And everything you said today, I mean, I'm enriched by what your philosophy. I'm enriched by your ideology and what you're speaking of. And I will take that on my journey. And on my journey, we're mapping out, we're talking about hitting 11 million kids with this one concept. And that's just one element. We've got dozens of elements that we're going to hit the kids on. We're just talking about one. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty selfish person. You can ask anybody in my life is what the narrative will be. And I just see it the way I see it. And I can't see it any other way than the way it's apparent to me. So I prefer to take these young ones out of football and out of playing the games that the Masons put forth for them to replicate their system, even on the field, and take it to a new level of consciousness and awareness and self-sustainability and co-creation, right? Like putting forth a path for these men to really realize what they were meant to be under creation, not under a Masonic system of mocking and sorcery and replication through corruption. That's just all I see from top to bottom, right? It's like America's pastimes are playing sporting games and sporting events to avoid learning the true purpose and meaning and value here as a man.
I agree. But with those sporting events and sporting teachings, I've learned all the virtues I've learned as a man to stand on my own 2 feet and be my own man. It's up to you to decide to stay inside the matrix or get out. And when you decide to get out, this is what happens to you. They cut you out, and they don't want you back because you're going to poison the rest of their crop. And that's what I've done. And it's okay. That's what I chose to do. That's what I feel my calling was to do. And I've got answers. I'm not just running on speculation no more. I'm not running on theory, and I'm not running on what somebody told me or I heard in a chat class. I'm running on what I've done. I don't have examples of shit I heard about. I got a few, but everything else, that when it comes down to it, I've put my own ass on the line with everything I'm saying and doing. And I figured this shit out the hard way. And that knowledge, even though I may not carry it all the way to its fruition, someone else may. But that's the thing, is that I'm not going to let them take what God allowed them to create and say, oh, we're going to take this and you're going to do it our way or no way. It's like, no, fuck that. I worked too hard myself, not knowing that I was working for you. But now that I know that I don't have to work for you, I'm not going to anymore. And I'm not going to let that work go to waste. I'm not going to let all
But
this
the pimp is not going to let you leave that stable with that bag 9 out of 10 times. So you might be the one, past broken hoe who got the game down good enough to talk them out of that bag.
Yeah,
but 9 out of 10 times you're leaving that stable with empty pockets.
Yeah, I agree. And I literally told my brother today, I've got the plans to the Death Star. Now I got to figure out a plan on how to blow the bitch up. That's where I'm at.
Metaphysically, right? We don't want that to be misinterpreted.
Metaphysically. Yeah. Well, see, it's an element of control. And that's what I want to blow up, because we're the battlefield is language. That's the battlefield. So if you look at the diagram, theater of war, what's the theater? The theater is the theater of language. And they've mastered how to manipulate the language so much that they take every single word and have 6 to 8 definitions on each one. And when they say it in the right context, it flips the jurisdictions, and they're able to take you out of your right jurisdiction where you have rights, authority, and convecture, and manipulate it to where you're under them. And I don't want a worse world with better ways to manipulate a person into slavery for my children. And that's where I believe my sacrifice and my commitment of my time, my effort, my energy is being spent for, because I want my kids to live in a better world than the one I came into. So I don't feel like any time I'm doing is wasted. And every ounce of energy that I have to share with you and anyone else that's listening, I want them to know that you believe in it and you want to create it, you got the power to do it. Because I'm doing exactly that.
And that's why I accept that. That's why I say to you, I don't have to believe in you in that sense, because I told you earlier I believe in you, like I believe in myself, or better yet, no, on some level. I don't have to believe in whatever endeavor you choose. You have to, right? So
Yeah.
I support you in that. If you have a path and you believe there's some payoff to this, I'm not going to necessarily. I might do the "I told you so" one day, just because I am, an asshole, and I would say, Steve, see how much time and energy,
You know
attention you
what?
wasted
But
with these people. But
what did
ultimately, like I told you, I prefer you prove me wrong and show everybody that what you just said is true to be the case for the individual. That if you can see it and believe it, then you could create it. And there's nothing really that could stand in your way long term. It's a matter of putting the time, energy, attention in.
Well, see, again, the enrichment that I'm experiencing in this process, I'm able to discern and interpret and find things that are new. I don't lose, I learn. So it's no wasted time, because I at least have this information to share. And now that I got this information to share, somebody can go and make it better than I can make it. Somebody's got more skill, more talent, more something, more resource than I got, may be able to take this information and do wonders with it. I don't know. All I know is if nobody does it, it's guaranteed to get worse, because it's only gotten worse since I've been born. This shit is off the chain. And this shit they're
Yo,
getting ready to pull down the line, it's going to be even worse than that.
can
Go
I
ahead,
challenge you?
Timmy.
Yeah, can I challenge you on something you said before, Steven? You said the noose is around everybody's neck in order to earn. Like I don't agree with that, man. Isn't that a major presumption that you gotta go and get, like you gotta go like this with your hand out to the pimp, or to the evil one in order to get something? Like isn't that a major presumption?
It's what it is. If you're born in a hospital and they gave you a birth certificate,
Okay, if
it's
I'm born
exactly
in
what it is.
if I'm born in a Walmart because my mother couldn't get out in time and I was born in the Walmart, am I beholden to Walmart's policies for the rest of my life?
Walmart's part of the institutions.
Oh, okay, but if somebody's born in Walmart, do they have to follow Walmart's policies for the rest of their life?
Walmart's following the incorporation's policies.
Yeah, but am I beholden to that? Is my point.
You're beholden to their governance, yes.
Okay, again, this is the same conversation that everybody has at all time. Where do you presume that I or any man is subject to the government's codes? Where does it say that? And then where do they say that? And then where is it practiced?
It says it in the Department of Vital Statistics when you are born. If they go and create a birth certificate in your name, image, and likeness, you are in their system, whether you want to be or not.
But would you agree that that's not me? The all caps name.
Of course not.
Their
It's an entity. They take your afterbirth, and that's what they go create it off of.
So the entity is there, not you,
Yeah.
right? So,
but that's the thing, is you're still beholden to the entity if you want to operate in their system. If you're going to exchange Federal Reserve notes in any capacity, you have to be in their system.
Where does it say
Otherwise,
that? Can you prove that?
That's what I'm proving with all of the stuff that I've done. You're not getting out of this system if you can leave the country and go to another country and go to another system. But you're not leaving this system if you're here, unless you go and live off the earth. Don't exchange those notes. Don't try to buy any of their assets or property of any kind. You're fine. You can do that. That's a choice. But you're not getting out of this shit whether you think you are or not. That's
So
just
you're
how they do
saying
it.
your claim, or I won't say claim, your presumption or
It's not a
speculation.
presumption.
Your
My
claim is that
observation.
I, as a private man, and as an example, let's say Paul, as a private man, we come through a private contract together. No one ever knows what we exchange to trade for our
If
property.
you
So
guys
how is that?
exchange,
How does anybody ever know?
nobody
what-
does. That's exactly what they do. See what they, again, the assumption presumption part is through the bar association. The bar association is a foreign corporation with private capabilities, just like you got. You can go and you, me, and Paul can cut deals right now. And if we're happy doing what we're doing between each other and we don't need nobody else, we're good.
That's my point. That's
I
my
don't
point.
disagree with that, but that's the whole system. The system is built on being private versus public. But what they've done is encapsulated everyone to be in the public. What Paul has done is pulled himself out, made him private, said, fuck y'all. I don't want your shit. Leave me be. And you can do that.
Okay,
But if
so
Paul crosses anybody in their system, trust and believe they will try to enforce their rules on him. Now, he has to have a certain level of knowledge, understanding, and independence to remain outside of that. If he doesn't have that, he will get sucked in.
Right. So it's not language. It's about knowing you're not a slave, and that heart, that confidence in your heart that you know you're free.
That's your
right?
free will. That's your free
You can
will.
also be confident in what you don't know, which is
Yeah.
something that people get thrown off by. I don't want to know anything about their system. I don't have to know anything about it. I don't have to understand it or comprehend it, and you can't force me to. And if you try to do harm to me for not understanding or comprehending something that is potentially incomprehensible, that is an indictment and conviction of you and your system, not of me and my walk. Right. So again, the wise man knows what he knows and does not know.
So think of it like this: they're gonna try when you literally. I look at Paul like a Shrek. You're an ogre that lives out on your own.
I'll accept that characterization. It's been put forth before in the past.
What did Shrek do when they came and said, you got to do this or you got to do that? Who the fuck are you? I've been living in my swamp happy as fuck. Why are you coming here fucking with me? Oh, because we're rounding up all the creatures. Bitch, get off my land. And it's about Paul staying convicted where he's at, saying, I'm not letting you come into my energy and fuck with me. Get out. And that's what we have to be. You have to be strong in your will in order to keep them from fucking with you. But they're not going to stop. They are going to keep fucking with you until you show them you know exactly how to stay away from them.
That's where I disagree, man. I don't pay income taxes because I don't earn income, and I never have for as long as I've been
tax since 2012. Okay.
Right. I mean, since I've been an entrepreneur around 2014, I haven't paid income tax because I don't get income. So I only deal private agreements with other man and woman, and they could run businesses and do that. So, I just like. You're saying, oh, they go after folks, but again, I'm claiming
they do.
I'll just claim it straight up. I claim that. Well, let's not make wild claims. I'm
president of a bank. Don't start doing snafu and wizard.
I can tell you what happened to me.
Hold on. Let me make the point. My point is, dude, you're presuming that they're gonna come after folks, and then I know, like, show me all the cases where a man knows who the fuck he is and knows that he didn't get income, where he got thrown in prison, beaten, killed. Show me, because I keep looking for it and I don't see it. All the tax evasion cases are times when they sign all the documents, they say they're earning income, they're dealing with the corporation, and every single time I don't see it. I look around, I'm like, yo, can somebody please show me? And it's not there to what I've seen.
Here's what you're misunderstanding. I never said that that's what happens. I said they're gonna fuck with you. That don't mean they're gonna throw you in jail, put you in prison, or kill you.
That's life.
When they fuck with you, they send you things like, I stopped paying taxes in 2012. They send me a letter probably every 3 or 4 years. Hey, you gonna pay taxes this year? No, go fuck yourself. That's what I do.
Right. Well,
So
I mean, it's just that's life, dude. They're taking a shot. They're taking a shot, and if they're and if I'm a slave, then I'm gonna I'm in fear. I already feel like a slave in my heart. Then I'm gonna pay. But it's just a simple notice. Hey, yeah, that sounds great. Oh yeah, I'm happy to pay this if I actually do.
So
Itemize
let's
this
get to-
motherfucker. And they never say shit.
Let's get to something here again. Assumption, presumption. I ain't making no assumptions. I'm just telling you what's happening. It's up to
I know,
you on how
yes,
you deal with it.
but in every arena, which arena are you specifically talking about? Because taxes,
arena of
property
life.
taxes, property ownership, like it
Life, they
seems.
control money. Their whole purpose was to get control of money, because once they get control of money, they can control everything. I'm only talking about the fundamental of money, because they control Federal Reserve notes. When you use their shit, they're holding you liable. That's the bottom line. So what I'm learning is how to just use the credits and issue the credits to get what I want. The problem is they don't want you doing that shit. So when you use the credits, they'll flip it and flip it back to a debt. Then you got to go flip it back to a credit. And then they try to take whatever the fuck you just did and flip it back on you. It's not an easy fight.
Again,
but I
think you're overcomplicating it, man. If me and another private man make a deal, who
I never said you can't.
So
I'm never saying you can't.
Why isn't that the solution? Aren't you overcomplicating everything?
Because
he's saying he wants to work within that system and wants to be able to do it with.
Yeah, with my power. So I can't go to Paul because he don't make Range Rovers. So I gotta go to Range Rover to get a Range Rover. That's what I'm talking about. When you want their shit, you got to go through them. Now, again, and here's an ugly dance that people don't want to hear. Sometimes you got to deal with the devil to get shit done. It's not pretty. These motherfuckers control a lot of shit. So
well, I mean, what's the
just because I go,
if you want to range, why not just pay for it? What's the problem with that?
Depends. What kind of ring am I buying? Number one. Number two, do I got the full cash available to do it?
Well,
because if I don't,
there's the cause and the solution, right? Become the value and then have it, and don't be playing their credit games.
Good luck.
What do you mean, good luck?
That's all I'm saying is good luck.
Marketplace. This is like business 101, dude.
Good luck. If you can go generate your credits in another way, by all means, do it.
No, right now I do generate fiat, but I mean,
good.
It's in
you're
a private.
Gonna play. That's fine. I'm doing the same thing with my investor jumping cash into our pockets right now. That's going to help me start creating the things I want to create in a private capacity to keep the things out of their public. Yes, here's the thing. You put $2 million away in a private capacity. If you pull it out and turn it into Federal Reserve notes, that becomes a taxable event. But if you know how to move credit as opposed to moving Federal Reserve notes, what I do when I want to buy my Range Rover, I go finance it through their system, which creates a debt. But then I go discharge it through the private trust, and there's no taxable event because I don't have to use Federal Reserve notes to discharge a debt. That's how you move and maneuver from private to public. Don't go create any situation that creates you having to get Federal Reserve notes. Discharge debt off of your credits. Now you're doing commerce. You're not doing business, you're doing commerce.
Okay, do you have a precise case study that you can show me that when you're saying, like, because you skipped over what I think is the important part. You're saying 2 million and then you take it out, it automatically becomes taxable. Like, what like where is that coming from? Like, you're saying you're okay, but this 2 million, where did it come from? You're talking about
where have you got it? wherever you got it. I'm not.
Okay, so you're saying you're making the claim that if I make $2 million private,
Yes.
never dealing with the IRS, never dealing with corporations, and then I
Mhm.
place it into a bank account, like as soon as it hits the bank account, now if I try to take it out, it becomes taxable. That's what you're saying?
No, the banks are now if you move it from credits into cash, yes, it's taxable. But see, you understand that's why you have credit cards and debit cards, because that's what they're moving towards to allow us to move the credits the way we want to. But when you move it to cash, as long as that says Federal Reserve notes, it's a taxable event.
Okay,
Trust
so if I
law
got
says that.
Okay, so if I got $2 million in the equivalency in gold, and then I go to the Rolls Royce shop and convince them to accept gold,
Wait, why would you do that? That's just, you don't got to do that. Here's how you do it: through your private trust. Your private trust can issue credits against your gold.
But me having $2 million in gold is already a private trust because it's my private property.
I got it. But I'm
Right.
saying, why wouldn't you just exchange the gold for credits?
Because
that's what banks do. This is what banks are, the actual mechanisms for which everything we're supposed to do through a bank. The bank is the exchange where you exchange, no different than if I was exchanging Deutschmarks or yen or any other type of currency. I could go exchange whatever thing I got that's of value. As long as the bank recognizes that it's value, they can create the credit for you. So go take the gold, exchange it for credits, and then take the credits to to the Rolls Royce shop. Now you're issuing credit as opposed to issuing any Federal Reserve note. Untaxable event. Again, we learn business. We do not learn commerce. Commerce is how they move money between nations.
Yeah.
And we have to move our money as a nation. We cannot move our money in the business, because if you move it as the business, that makes you a slave. So look, it's simple, but it's complicated because they built it. It ain't a system that I wanted to operate in. It's not my choice. It's not what I want, but I learned how to play their game. And like I said, I got a lot of shit in this motherfucker, so I'm not trying to give it up. Done did a lot of work. I put a lot of time in. I'm going to fight for it. And in this fight, I've learned a shit ton. And I'm literally trying to get my car tomorrow. But it's learning how to move credit. And when you start thinking of it that way, it's not a combative situation. It's learning how it really works, not how they taught us. Because when you learn how it really works, you can make it work for you. That's what I believe. And that's what I've been pursuing.
I guess overall, I guess for the Rolls Royce payment, or to dealing with one of the corporations, that's the path. But I guess what I'm the point of mind I'm coming from is, like, for the majority of dealings that I want to be doing it with is just in the private. So I guess
no, you're 100% correct. Stay private. You are. Yeah. I am doing the same thing you're doing. I am trying to stay private. All of my deals are going to be private. I don't want nothing in the public. We got an LLC that allows us to operate in the public. Again, you just have to have a sequence of vehicles that allow you to interchange with whoever you're doing business with. That's all you need. You don't need. I ain't worried about reporting taxes. Why? Because part of my LLC, my private trust, owns my interest in that LLC. The LLC's got to report, hey, we distributed all the funds to all of the different members of the LLC. So now each individual is responsible for reporting whatever it is they're going to report, if they choose to report it. But because I'm a private trust, I don't give a shit. I ain't reporting shit.
And would you say that if you weren't worried about the liability, and if you're only dealing with people that you trusted, then the LLC wouldn't even be necessary? Would you agree with that?
It's up to you. The only way the investor is going to dump the money in my pocket, he's not going to dump it in my private trust. He's going to dump it in my LLC, because that's something he can see, touch, taste, and feel. That's something he has access to. He'll have full disclosure on everything. Everything on the LLC will be reported. If we were tighter, good buds and stuff like that, yeah, it probably wouldn't be that way. But I agree with you 100%. Anybody you could do private business with, do it. Stay there. Don't budge. I'm just saying at some point, you're going to have interaction with the system. You just have to have a means to do it.
For sure.
And
I
that's
got
it.
you. Good stuff, man. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So you're on the right path, and I want everybody to know. Private's the way to go.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to really do business and have them out of your business. And when you go private, because understand, the only thing that really governs everything is contracts. Everything, your marriage is a contract. Friendships can be contracts. You got to be in contract mindset of understanding that there is always principles, terms and conditions, start date, stop date, amount that's contributed, and conditions and considerations. That's contract law. And if you write a contract and two people sign it, that is a governing document, because that contract overrides any other assumed or presumed agreement or conditional acceptance of any kind. So I think there was another dude that was talking about the assumed, affidavit or something. But the ultimate thing I was trying to say to him was, anytime they got any kind of thing you do through their process, you got to understand that the court system is a post office, and really all you're doing is going to use their postal services every time you go to them. But the thing is, they're going to take you through their government first, and when they take you through their government, you could go to the post office without going to the. And that theory is going to be fully tested tomorrow for me, and I'll see if it works. But when you start understanding that we issue credit, and they flip it. So what I'm trying to do is learn how to just push the credit through. I'm not asking them to flip anything, because when you go to any of their institutions, all of them are going to have some kind of underwriting, back office, some kind of bullshit ass way. And all that says to me when I hear that is that's them flipping your credit to a debt, because all they're doing is creating a trust, flipping who the principal is, who the benefactor is. They're flipping that because they got to. Because if you just walk in there and you just were able to just issue credit, shit, they can't make the money that they're making. So they make the money that they're making on trading your instrument. So the whole entire futures market is built off of our credits. So when they go create a future, what's the future? Oh, I live in Kansas City, so it's the growth of Kansas City. Well, what do they trade? And this is gonna fuck you up, but they trade how many diplomas they're putting out. How many people are they putting out that are specialized workers? Because those specialized workers have a value to the growth of the community.
I like to keep it simple, Stephen. Just call them slaves. I know that the corporate world has all these, grandiose, euphemistic terminologies, specialized workers.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, they put that as part of the growth of a city, because you got to have so many engineers, architects, construction workers, master carpenters, master plumbers. You got to have so many of them to expand the growth of a city, which is buildings, roads, highways, infrastructure. All of those things are necessary.
Right, but obviously we don't have to create those people with those entitlements. It used to just be called a man. A man used to just know how to build shit. A man used to just know how to fix shit. A man used to just be that and know that and generate value again in the private by doing and being and knowing. Right. So it's when we send these folks to the institutions and generate the contracts and pretend that we need a system in order to live within the system that is universal law and understanding is foolishness to me. I think it's short-sighted.
So if you think about it, that's what they did. They allowed it to grow naturally, because this is what they do the best. is they allow whatever society needs to grow naturally, and then they come and militarize it. Once they militarize it, then they shove it in one of their categories: banking, finance, property, you name it. They're going to shove it somewhere where it can be governed. Whatever it is, the internet, they just let it grow. They put it together, they let down the framework so it can start to grow. They let it grow, and now what are they doing? They're trying to regulate the shit out of it. They're going to militarize it first. Because then when they militarize it, they're going to say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. They're going to shut that shit down. Right now, they're pretending, oh, well, Facebook's got their way of operating their private business, and X has its way of operating its private business. But the reality is that once they go public, they're already militarized. That's how they do it. Everything in the public's military. Because why? Of that chart I showed you. Everything is under military control. So when you go public, you're under military control. That's why you're able to get so much in resources, because you got the entire military moving its money to make you move, to make you grow. When you stay private, that's another story. And they get to, a lot of companies get to the point because they say, oh shit, this is something the military needs to control. So they force you to go public because you control too much interest outside of them. And the number one job for the military is to maintain the occupation. So that's my 45 cents. I'm sorry I got cut off earlier. Every fucking time it seems like when I talk to you,
Yeah,
Paul,
we're a bit over the 3-hour mark anyway, Steve. So I guess we'll call it there. I think that was a solid presentation, if you will. Give us the final word, and then I'm going to close it out here. And then if you want to come back tomorrow, the next day, and report your findings or your results, always an open door policy here.
Yeah, I'd try to do tomorrow, but I don't know. It's going to be pretty choppy tomorrow, so probably Friday maybe. I'll try to get back as soon as I can. I'll give you a heads up for sure. But I would say to everyone, stay true to yourself, be you, and the people you need to be around are people who accept you for being you. They don't try to make you be them. You know, so standing on your own 2 feet's easier said than done, especially when if you're a duck around a bunch of flamingos, it's really tough. But you got to do that. You got to do it. You got to be you. It's like you can't be around the flamingos. Hey, you're not going to do what they do. They're built different. You know, so it's okay. It's okay to be unique. But guess what? That as a duck, you'll find other ducks. You might have to hang out with some geese, some chickens, some turkeys. Hope you don't get fried. But be you. And being of an independent mindset is very hard because this whole system is grinding us to be and operate as one. They don't want you to think for yourself. Independent thought, gift of free will, and power to choose, 2 greatest gifts God gave you. So be the best you can be. Peace.
Appreciate you, Steve. Look forward to having you back as always. And blessings to you in your travels and in all your endeavors.
All right, bro. Be well.
All right, man. Timmy, any final words for the crowd, as the once non-producer Moose would say?
Well, drink Piz. That'll save us. Those are my last words.
It is.
All right, wait a minute.
O'Shea Beverages.
Yeah, O'Shea
All
Beverages.
right, Timmy.
Later, brother.
Get the hell out of here. You see, you can't take these Enslavians anywhere. They're heathens, I tell you. All right, folks. Resoundingly successful broadcast, not only because I was here, but because Penal Bauer, Timmy, the Italian head of the Jew Council, was here. And of course, the big, the black, the beautiful Steve Martin, NFL superstar. Okay, I can't say that enough because I know that that's important. Entitlement is important in this world and in these venues, according to some people. When it comes to me and how I perceive it, we're just men first. The best thing about being just men first is we're made in the image of the Most High. So that's just enough. All right, I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow, somewhere between 12 and 3 MDT. As always, Mazel from out west, folks in Hollywood, thanking you for being here. If nothing else, to be a constant source of mockery and ridicule. But there may be more to the story, right? So let them mock, let them ridicule, let them do their sorcery. They'll give me a wink and a nod from time to time. I'll give them a wink and a nod. We're here to do what we do. At times, it may cross over, right? We're in the world, but we're not of it. So fun game, fun simulation. It's all the things. Unslaved one out. And peace and blessings, brothers and sisters, everyone. This is for all the bitch-ass motherfuckers out there. Quotes.
You know how this goes, right? There's levels to this shit. Standing on truth and not wavering. But these folks want to talk all this high-power shit, want to act like they're righteous. You bitch-ass motherfucker. I'm so sick of these people, bro. Never done a motherfucking thing and seemingly never will. You bitch-ass motherfucker. First-hand experience can't be invalidated by the unknowing unbeliever. You bitch-ass unexperienced. Are you kidding? Bitch-ass. If it could, we wouldn't be here having these conversations because the devil would already have this place. You bitch-ass motherfucker. What we're talking about is so concerning to realize the majority of the public will just sit around and watch shit that's bitch-ass meaningless and valueless that gives them no application in the world to change their life. You bitch-ass motherfuckers. Experiential, observable, explainable, and demonstrable. What I represent in this thing, refocus, right? Re-energize. You bitch-ass motherfucker. Do I want to go along to get to a bag? Bitch-ass. Or am I calling everybody out on how we've fallen short so we could get somewhere with this? Because if not, it's all over at some point. The question is when. You bitch-ass motherfucker. So how are you changing to meet life on life's terms and provide solutions to the problems we face? You bitch-ass motherfucker. If you're not doing that, you bitch-ass motherfucker, well then I gotta step out into the front, into the leadership position. I gotta put a target on me. You bitch-ass. I gotta do what won't be done. Bitch-ass. Right? It's not that it can't be done. It won't be done because they're
So
cowards.
rude.
You bitch-ass motherfucker. You're gonna have to hold fast to who and what you are and what you know. You bitch-ass motherfucker. I know I'm the enemy because of what I stand for, what I do, and what I'm willing to say. Bitch-ass. And what I'm not willing to do and say. You bitch-ass motherfucker. Punk-ass bitches are riding around in their convertible. Bitch-ass. Breathing in the toxic heavy metals. Bitch-ass. Slave trails. You bitch-ass motherfucker. I'm here. I'm calling everybody out. Anybody can get it. Gorilla season. Gorilla season. Anybody can get it. I'm here. God of all media. So when are we going to get right for ourselves and each other and stop the content, non-tent, bit, non-bit, using all my words and lingo, trying to be me and do what I do, and then just wind up embarrassing yourselves and everybody? Because you ain't me. You haven't done the work I've done on myself. You haven't been honest and open and real with women and yourself. You haven't tried to cultivate a space where you reconcile your animal body and the primal nature and all that lust with some kind of level of objective care to do what's true and what's right. You haven't. And it's all over you. Yeah.